which is nice because like, there's a lot of times where it's just like, man, there's only like one target or two targets, or like I don't really want to waste a third or fourth level spell, but I want to like contribute something in combat and like help out a little bit. So like, okay, I can just boom level 1 spell. I just try and knock this guy out.
Yeah.
I think it's more versatile. I think it's yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll because I know they're releasing it on the 17th. I think someone told me.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that.
I'm definitely going to pre-order it.
Nice.
I probably will just implement the changes, unless people are like begging me not to. But yeah, I feel like it's mostly buffs and less nerfs. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
I mean, Artificer I don't think has any changes because it wasn't a player's handbook class.
Yeah.
But everybody else, I mean, yeah, Barbarians is gonna get a glow up. I don't really actually know much about the Druid. That's one of the few classes I haven't really read into.
Druid?
Yeah. So I don't know much about the Druid changes.
I saw the playtest stuff. They were changing the shape-shifting, so it was more like you kind of do like an aspect of an animal shapeshift, and it's temp HP instead of like animal HP. It seemed interesting. I'm not sure if they stuck with it though. It'll be we'll have to see.
Oh yeah.
But anyway.
And then bards, like I said, I mean, I like the bard changes from what I saw.
Yeah. All right. So we should probably get going here. We have Glenn still at the top of the list. Been there
Right.
for like 4 weeks now.
It's a running gag now. Who wants to take journal for me? Come on, we got to keep it going.
Oh wait, hang on, I got a thing for this. There it is.
Oh, come on, nobody.
Sorry, Glenn. You failed your persuasion attempt that time. That's all right. It'll put you at the bottom. Then you have to worry about it for 3 weeks, and then you can try to make them take it another month or something.
I'll make your character a song if you journal for me.
You'll make a song. It'd probably just be easier if you journaled. It's not that hard. Just take a few lines.
All right, I'll journal.
All right. So Glenn, scribe, finally goes back to the bottom of the list. And Uslog, as the previous scribe, can you walk us through the events of last time?
Yes, it's kind of a long one.
No worries.
Okay.
Because love is involved.
Yeah, that's like the last sentence or two. Anyway, let's see. It is strange being back in Isik. When the Foxgloves and I left here just days after banishing Malik, the buzzing of insects was the only sign that life was returning to Isik, which had been, until then, as silent as the dead. We never got to see what became of the place. We had done what we came here to do, and it had taken its toll. At the time, we were just ready to leave. Except we had made allies here. Xana, Dinara, Chiron, Rotbro, unnatural beings, all of them, but still, we could not have succeeded without them. With Isik now being reclaimed by the Empire, their reign is over. This is probably as it should be, yet I can't help but feel sorry. At the chapel in Isik, the Splitlanders and I met a spy master named Akami, the illegitimate daughter of a noble family on the council, and a colleague of Glenn's, it turns out. Her brother, Bakor, oversees the redevelopment of Isik. Apparently, after the Foxgloves and I left and word got out that the curse of Isik had been removed, there was a council to stake claim on the city. Typical Empire. Akami seemed to think the Foxgloves would have had a part in these negotiations. Quince and Zaris may have been able to smooth things over with Xana and the settlers had we stuck around, if nothing else. It was clear there was a lot of information to be shared between Akami and our group, so Glenn invited her to meet us at a nearby tavern. It took me a while to be able to relax here. I still half expect to see undead around every corner. Nothing a few rounds of ale wouldn't help with, though. Gavrex was understandably upset with how things worked out here with Xana, and for a red dragon, he's handling it better than expected. He wants to burn this place to a crisp, but hasn't yet. I told him that if people here knew how Xana helped the Foxgloves defeat the evil here, where they now sit safely drinking with no fear of being disemboweled by a bone claw, they would be less harsh toward her, surely. Meanwhile, Glenn regaled the patrons of the tavern with tales from our adventures. Shortly after, Akami arrived, and we filled her in on what brought us to Isik, as well as some of our other discoveries and actions in the realm, including the tower. I hope we were right to trust her with this information. On my own, I wouldn't, but I trust Glenn, and he seems to trust her as much as spies trust anyone, I suppose. Before she left, Akami let us know where we could find Chiron. I was surprised and happy to hear he was still around. We can find him in his library when we're ready. Our new companion Estrella will most likely find him interesting, and he might have more scrolls for Eli to scribe, though we did just give him what we had already. I am interested to hear from Chiron what happened in Isik after we left, and what he makes of our new revelations regarding the Shadowlords. Before we headed off to our rooms for the night, we made plans for the following day. If we stuck around Isik, we could seek out Arani Hollowhand. We had asked Akami about him, but she knew nothing of him, nor was she aware that there was an island in the middle of the lake here. Either she had her memory altered, or Hollowhand made an island disappear. Both sound feasible in this case. However, the more time-sensitive matter is that of Xana, as Gavrix kept reminding us. According to Akami, she flew north after things got violent here. Gavrix insisted we go find her, or he would go without us. Estrella pointed out that finding Xana first was the most efficient order of operations anyway, and we agreed. The 45th of spring. To reach the mountains where we assumed Xana to be, we decided to fly. Gavrix has no patience for walking, and we have options when it comes to flying. So Estrella became a giant eagle with me on her back. Glenn convinced Gavrix to allow him to ride on his back instead of his talon. Malin can fly, but too slowly according to Gavrix, so he ended up in the dragon's talon. We flew all day, stopping occasionally to allow Estrella to rest and renew her eagle form. On one of our rests, Estrella found some rare herbs, which I helped her collect and catalog. And Malin took a moment to ask Gavrix more about the ancient red dragon that ruled the skies over Roic Halls. It sounded to me like he was trying to convince Gavrix to help destroy the red dragon and loot its lair. I pointed out that I did not plan on volunteering for that. Gavrix thankfully thought it was a foolish notion as well, but Malin seemed to think the matter was still open for discussion. Gavrix left to scout the skies while we took a closer look at the lands for signs of Xana. We spotted signs of a scuffle on the mountainside. From what I could tell, it was something large. Then we noticed the withered grasses, a telltale sign of a creature of shadow having touched the land here. We were on the right track, and I was getting more anxious. We noticed after some time there were birds following us. The local wildlife had been hiding considering the two dragons stalking the area, as well as Estrella's giant eagle form, so this was strange behavior. Glenn used his universal speech to call out to them, but they just tweeted. Convinced they were no normal birds, he tried other methods of communicating and convincing to no avail, and much to his frustration. Then an eagle flew overhead and approached us. It became clear this was a druid in wild shape. Just in case we were wrong, I readied myself to dodge. Glenn warned us that druids were assholes. He must have history with them because normally he's the one most ready to welcome new arrivals peacefully. I myself have only ever had good experiences with druids. My people hold much respect for them. Fortunately, this druid was none other than Derek Ravenclaw, the dwarven archdruid we had met while ambushing trolls in the mountains before. He recognized only Malin and I, as the rest joined later and Chomsky and Arapel were no longer with us. Ravenclaw was happy to see us and told us of the shadow dragon that had recently taken residence here. He said she was disrupting the balance, eating too much, corrupting the plant life, the usual. We told him we came to rectify the situation. He was grateful to hear this and offered to come with us and show us where her lair was. We agreed, but I am apprehensive, seeing as we came here to help Xana if we could. I let him know we had history with this dragon and the situation was rather delicate. I hope he trusts us to handle this in our own way. We already have Gavrix breathing down our necks about securing the tower in his lair. I really don't want to see how he reacts if we fail to resolve this peacefully. As we prepared to make camp later that evening, I asked Glenn what his history was with druids that made him so uncharacteristically hostile towards them, and he stated his issue was with their inaction more than anything. I suspect there is more, as did Ravenclaw. This led to a larger conversation in which Glenn continued to shit-talk most druids. We also learned more of Estrella's magical abilities and extraplanar travels. Ravenclaw found this interesting and asked if she had been to the Feywild recently. He mentioned that the druid circles to the south had become aware of some corruption in the Feywild due to void energies. This was concerning, and not the first time the Fey Courts have been brought up. Perhaps we should check in with our friend in the Steel Shadow. Ravenclaw suggested one of the young druids of his circle join our company, to aid us and to get in touch with him if necessary. Glenn was not happy about this, but we got him to agree to let the young druid tag along, but remain in camp, working on brewing potions for us. This is a chance for Glenn to see a druid actively lending aid to our cause instead of hiding out in nature, preaching about balance. Perhaps the younger generation of druids wishes to be more involved. Later, we heard the approach of large leathery wings. It was either Gavrik's returning from his search or our quarry Xana. It was the latter. She demanded to know why we were following her, but then recognized me. I greeted her and introduced my new acquaintances. After the formalities, Xana shrunk to her shadow elf form. Glenn informed her we had good news. I hoped she would see it as good news as well, but once Glenn mentioned Gavrik's, it was clear that she did not quite see it that way. Much like Gavrik's had been at first, she insisted it was better they did not see each other again. Estrella and I supported her on this, telling her she didn't have to meet with them if she didn't wish. Glenn, on the other hand, didn't believe her and insisted that love must prevail, and proceeded to gaslight the Shadow Dragon, kind of kidding but kind of not. That's it.
All right, nice recap. I completely forgot about Glenn's sudden classist view on druids. I'm glad you reminded me of that.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Interesting character development. All right, so it is the 45th of spring at 10 p.m. When we are picking things up. Something
Welcome back,
else I was
my
gonna
super
say,
sweet
now I'm
persuasion.
blanking. All right. So yeah, you were talking to Xana. You were trying to convince her that she should meet up with Gavrik. She seemed a bit pensive about it. The party was a little split because I know some of you were saying that she shouldn't have to. Also, it looks like I'm missing Miri from Roll20.
Oh yeah, I'll get in.
Right. So.
And basically she was like, I don't want to meet him, and I was like, I don't believe that.
Yeah, that's what I was reading my notes. So, she is currently in human form, or humanoid, I should say. She looks around. She says, "Is he here?"
He is here with us.
He's around.
She says, "You came all the way up here to try to get me to meet up with an old lover of mine. Was there something else you were looking for up here, or is that the only reason?"
That is literally the only reason. And he came all the way, traveled a great distance to see you as well. I hope that says something.
Give me another persuasion. Well, you've come quite the distance. I suppose I could meet with him as a favor to Uslag. She was an ally to me back in the day, and since you are an ally to her, I suppose I could do her this favor.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. You do what you want, Xana. But
I can't.
just talking to him.
I can't make you return his feelings, or can't make you feel any way that you don't want to feel. But all that I wish for is for you to just meet with him, and whatever else happens is fate.
What is your investment in my love for him?
By the story.
She would kind of look over at Uslag. And do you have a opinion on this?
It was more when we heard that he knew of you. I myself wanted to see how you were doing, and it just kind of worked out. It was just enough of a coincidence to feel like it was something we needed to check in with.
Xana. May I call you Xana?
I suppose, yes.
Xana, stories are important. It's what almost all humanoid races are raised on as children. We tell stories to imbue and get across certain life lessons and metaphors. The stories told to us as children have a deeper meaning, even if we're too young to realize it at that moment. Think of me as a collector and purveyor of humanoid stories, and this story about meeting a mighty red dragon trapped and enslaved by fire giants, first facing him in combat, and then convincing him to throw off the yoke of his oppressors and join us to fight against the fire giants. Then following us to a magical rune master's tower, and then finding out he had a lost lover that we had, or at least one of my companions had run into in the past. Truly, this is fate at work, I thought. For this is the start of a grand story that I will tell for generations, regardless of the outcome. The story thus far, including rebellion and despair and betrayal and now love. Well, personally, I hope that love will prevail against all, but I am just a follower of fate.
She says he was captured by or by fire giants, eh?
Yes, and subdued to do their bidding. But I reminded him he is a mighty red dragon, and why is he listening to these fucknuts?
Well,
And
to
he
be honest,
realized-
I beat him up. Then then we reminded him.
He kind of does this like little finger point towards Mal, and he just like shakes his head, saying no.
She looks to Booslog. She says, interesting group of friends you have with you.
Indeed.
This is what happened to
Foxgloves were
what happened to all the old foxgloves.
a lot of them are working towards our same goal, but just in different ways, in different places. Quince and Xeris are in the Shadowfell. Oh wait, yeah, Quince and Xeris are in the Shadowfell. Others have contributed to, I think, the Adventurers Guild in Char, I believe. Out of character, I think. And others have gone their own way, sadly.
Well, it makes me happy to know that you that you carry on the fires of the Foxgloves, whatever form it's in. Splitlanders, you said you called yourselves now?
Yep. The cause is still the same. The group has changed.
She says, well, knowing that brute, he'll probably just be flying around the mountains in the dark all night. Gavrix was not always the brightest. I suppose I could wait here for a bit and see if he comes back. I don't promise we'll be forever lovers or anything. She says the dragon ways of courtship and love are very different from humanoids. I mean, as a bard, I assume you know something of dragons and how we mate and have children. She looks.
But yes, yes, I do. He says.
Says, well, it's very rare for dragons to have a partnership that lasts. Usually, we just have shorter courtships to produce offspring, and then we move on as our lifespans are too vast to stay together, and we also all have very large egos. So, trying to be in a partnership for more than a small amount of time could result in the death of one of the dragons. Says we get on each other's nerves. We tend to do better with your kind, actually. Which is why there are so many sorcerers out there.
I was just about to say that. That makes so much sense.
She says, and it seems like you said you were some sort of bard?
Yes, I am.
Says perhaps even you have some dragon blood in your lineage.
Perhaps it'd be interesting to think.
She says, that said, it would be nice to see Gavrex again. Perhaps we could catch up and share old stories. Though I suppose you know what happened in Issyk, and that I'm not really welcome there anymore.
We would like to hear your side of things, if you're willing to share. But yeah, we know the basics.
She says, well, what did they tell you?
What did they tell
From what they said, I believe that correct me if I'm wrong on character, because I'm just saying what I remember, is that they tried, I believe, talking with you, but that they could not, you could not come to terms over.
She says, well, they tried talking to the collective, which was the Warforge, the people of Queen Dinara and myself. We were allied as the keepers of Issyk, the former rulers of the city that obviously the Foxgloves befriended. She says when talks came, they made demands of Dinara and our alliance that Dinara refused, and there was a bit of a battle between our forces and theirs. They had the numbers, so they won.
Tell me, Xana, is it?
She says, I personally was more fighting as an ally to Dinara. Obviously, I would have liked to have kept my lair atop the keep, but I had a feeling this would happen at some point, so I had already moved much of my treasure elsewhere.
How is it uncomfortable for dragons to spend long period of times in human form? Like, do you need to switch back occasionally, or?
She says, when we're younger, it's harder, though as we age, it becomes easier, especially with practice. She says, I can go several weeks without needing to drop my form.
Would you, if we could convince Issyk, would you like to go back?
I don't think there's much for me there anymore. I mean,
well,
I've already moved my hoard once. I don't really want to move it again.
Oh, you could still keep your hoard here for safekeeping, and I was just thinking that if we could convince Issyk, and if you could, spend most of your time there in human form to, not scare the riffraff, I think that we would find great value in having you as a guardian of Issyk. Of course, should you choose, but it does not sound like that might not be something you wish.
Since the best that's going to happen might be friendly terms and possibly trade. I don't think I'm going to be a guardian for a city that drove me out. She says, I have no alliances left to Issyk. Only to you all. And, Uslag specifically.
Would you be willing to be a guardian of somewhere else?
She says, well, I'm a guardian of my lair, as most dragons are. To guard a secondary location means to leave a lair undefended, which is generally not a good idea as a dragon. She says, you seem to talk a lot. You said your name was Glenn.
Yes. Pleasure to meet you.
I'm curious about the quiet old woman in the back, she says, kind of motioning over to Estrella. You haven't said much, dear.
Well, what did you want to know?
As well, just maybe a little bit more about you. It seems like, well, I know quite a bit about Uslag, and I assume Malin, you gave her your name, right? Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah.
But I assume Malin is one of the Warforged friends of Uslag, either from the Vault or elsewhere. Glenn, being a bard, what is it exactly that you do in the group?
I'm rather a newcomer. I just recently encountered these ones, but boy, do they get into some interesting stuff. And I'm just a seeker and a wanderer. I like to learn and discover new places and experience new things. And, well, this seems to be the group.
She says, I recognize some of the markings on your armor as druidic, but many of them I don't. What grove do you
Dabble.
have?
I have a few kind of, in my wanderings, I've picked up some knowledge and abilities from a number of disciplines.
Interesting. She says, are you part of any of the groves of the Empire or the mountain areas?
No, from this plane originally, but I haven't spent most of my life here, so I don't really have any specific affiliations here.
It says so you are of a different plane.
Quite a bit of time in the astral plane.
Is that what your markings signify?
I'm trying to find what I wrote. And it's not in my Roll20 sheet.
Just curious, as I said, I've met some druids over my lifetime, but you are by far one of the most unique, at least in the garbs you wear and the symbols that you have.
Yeah, she would point to. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, she would point to one of the symbols. And, okay, so there's a symbol that's an arc of 7 stars inside a circle. So she would point to that and she would say, this is Celestian 7 spells, the Star Wanderer. He is a god of the astral plane. Much of my power derives from him.
Says, oh, you don't derive your powers from Gaian, as most druids do?
I feel a connection to the land when I am upon it, but and can draw some of the life force therein, should I need to. It is a similar discipline as the druidic magic that I use, but in general I am more focused on the heavens above the plane on which I walk at any given time than the land beneath.
So if you draw your power from a god, do you also wield divine magics?
I do. I've, as I said, dabbled, and therefore I am able to use a number of disciplines: arcane, divine, and primal.
And you, Malin, you seem like a warforged, but have a lot of humanoid features to you, like non-construct features. She says,
Yes.
It's definitely a bit odd. Is there a reason for that?
Yes, I was originally a human, but I used to I believe, work with the Rune Masters of old in some capacity, but so apparently like, something happened, and I've lost much of my memory, and I was rebuilt into this form of mine, which, is part machine, part human.
Rebuilt. She looks to Uslag. She says, similar to what happened with Dinara in her warforged form.
I don't remember out of character. I don't remember that. I don't know if we got that far with the Warforged because we met them on our way out.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not
So
really
she
sure.
would say, perhaps.
So Slut would be kind of
perhaps-
surprised, like, oh, she had a Warforged form. That's interesting.
She says, yes, you may have left, but she worked with Chiron and the Warforged, who made her a body that she was able to transfer her spirit into. It let her leave her domicile finally.
Oh wow. Yeah, it was. I was wondering how that all would have worked out with the Warforged. They didn't seem to like organic beings all that much, especially not anyone associated with the Rune Masters. So, I'm not sure how things would have worked out between us.
As well, unfortunately, as far as I know, she fell to one of their warriors, an extremely talented swordsman.
Oh, from the Asmira?
Yes, I don't know his name, but he was Taswanese.
Okay.
Well, I didn't see her die, but I was told later that she fell in battle. Fighting.
What happens to a ghost inhabiting a Warforged body when the Warforged body is killed?
Says, I don't know, but from what I was told, she perished. So whatever that would look like. With her fall, it kind of split a major part of the alliance, and that was kind of the beginning of the end for our team. She says, so you can understand why I might not want to go back to Isaac.
I'm sorry our group didn't stay to help with the situation. I'm not sure what we could have done, but...
So, as
still.
you are talking, you would hear the sound of big leathery wings flapping above.
Whoop, get your popcorn.
By this time, the druids have kind of just left you guys, giving you time to speak with Zana, so they're not really here anymore. They kind of snuck out while you were all talking. But coming from above, the large red dragon lands, smashing into the ground, reforming into Gavrex. He says, I've looked around quite a bit. I don't see her anywhere in the immediate area. Perhaps we should set camp. Wait, who's this? Zana just crosses her arms. She says, really? Looks at her. Says, oh. Zana? And she sighs. She says, yes, it's me. Did you forget what I look like? It's been a while. You can't remember her. Can't expect someone to... Anyway, it's good to see you. And he goes over to give her a hug. She kind of smiles and embraces him back. She says, as you. She kind of looks away. I didn't necessarily want you to see me like this. And he says, you do look different. He says, I remember your form being high elven. She says, yes, and that sort of changed when I did. And he says, well, as I said, it's good to see you, and I'm glad my group found you. I assume these humanoids introduced themselves, and she says, yes, and I do know one of them, so we do go back a ways. So he looks to Glenn. He says, well, you helped me find Zana. I appreciate it. Thank you, friend.
You are welcome. And he just like, he looks super giddy. He's just like,
Just
I'm having a great time. I'm having a great time.
So, yeah, Zana, perhaps we should return to your lair and talk about how things have been. She says, maybe not just yet. I want to keep my lair hidden for the time being. Why don't we just set camp and maybe we could speak more tomorrow? And he says, yeah, that sounds great. All right, well, I'll get my tent set up.
Oh.
He
I shoot him a look and like saying, "Bro, what are you doing?" Like I don't say anything. I'm like, I'd like to put my arms up in the air.
He says, what? What are you looking at? Wait, I don't have a tent. Damn it. That's right. I don't carry supplies on me. Can I borrow someone's tent?
You can borrow my tent. I'll put it outside.
Thank you, friend.
Of course. And he kind of winks and whispers, "Anything for love."
Anything for love.
I rip the Glenn in the side. Like I gently elbow and say, "This guy might actually be worse than me."
Well, we'll see. It's...
Zana says, well, I don't have a tent, but I suppose I could share yours for now. It's been a while since I've been outside my lair in the evening. I hope it's over. I hope everything's all right back there. He says,
I'm sure it's fine.
It's
quite nice. It's I would even say romantic.
She shoots you a look. Gavrix is just all teeth right now. Big old smile. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll see all of you tomorrow. Everyone stay safe, though. With 2 dragons in your camp, I don't think that'll be an issue.
Oh, wow.
And basically, yeah, so he's setting up his tent, and she's kind of over there talking to him. I don't really want to roleplay with myself, so I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, we want it. No, it's okay.
While
You
all
play
this is
these
happening,
characters. We pay good money for Dragon RP.
while all of this is happening, though, Glenn is playing his sit turn. He's playing like Peter Frampton.
Playing what?
Oh, baby. He's playing like Peter Frampton.
Oh.
Oh, baby, I love your way.
I go to the other group members, say, "Guys, honestly, it feels so good not to be on the end of this for once." But I can see why you guys love observing.
All right, so
Flex is kind of flabbergasted that all worked out.
Well,
See, you have to trust in the power of love, Usla.
I don't know if I'd
All
call that power of love. Boulder Bottom says. You know, it seemed kind of awkward to me. No one was in each other's arms saying sweet nothings.
I was expecting fireworks, I guess.
Love always starts out awkward, though. That's what's beautiful about it.
He shrugs. He says, there's some truth to that. I can tell you about some dwarven love if you ever want to know. Gives you a wink.
I think I'd rather die, he says.
Yeah.
Dwarven love is pretty awkward. He starts setting up his tent.
I mean, just the logistics alone. He just kind of shudders and shakes his head.
He says, I was more talking about the flirt than the court, not the act. Yeah, never mind. Going to bed.
I mean, what is dwarven flirting? Like pulling each other's beard?
I'm going to bed. I don't want to talk about it.
Hit the
All
nail
right.
on the head.
So I'm guessing we would just pass some time here. So let me know if you're wanting to do anything or have the camera for some RP while I roll to see how things happen. I have weird music playing right now. All right, so what is this? I really have to clean out some of these playlists. So as you guys are all going to bed. Delete this one too. Sorry. There's some weird tracks on this one. We're just gonna keep tense music. Tense It's dragon love. So yeah, the evening is passing. You see Gavrix and Zana still kind of talking. It seems like they're getting along better talking in private. There's more smiling
Understandable.
and like just kind of shooting like little flirty glances back and forth. So yeah, the evening would pass. So it is now the 46th of spring at 8 a.m. You can all long rest if you need it, if you need anything from it. Gavrix comes over to the group and he says, "So good news. Zana thinks I should maybe come and stay with her in her lair for a bit, talk more about old times and what's going on with her. I think she was just very worried I would be more upset by her new appearance, but says, hey, it's just good to see her again."
Very
So,
nice.
I'm going to go with her, and I guess I'll meet you back in Issyk maybe in a few days.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Perfect.
He says,
Maybe. Never.
Will we be
I
in?
don't know if I'm the one to say this.
Are we planning to go back to Issyk?
he
Well, yeah, we
looks
need to-
well, he'll look to Uslag and say, "What is it, Uslag?"
Perhaps we could find another place for you all to not right now. I mean, catch up, all that stuff. But perhaps you could put in a good word for finding somewhere else for her to have her lair.
He says,
But
"Do you
I'm
have
not-
something in mind?" "Oh, maybe my tower." He says, "Our new tower. We could both live there. That's a good
Is
idea."
that tower big enough for both dragons?
Oh, I mean, it's pretty big on the inside.
Glenn just as slowly as he can turns his head to Uslav.
Yeah, face palm. Like I just face palm.
It's like
And
anime
he
style.
just mouths the words. Yeah, just like, you motherfucker.
He says, "Did you have someplace specific in mind?"
Yes, Uslag, did you have someplace specific?
I mean,
Yeah, it was locked. Did you have someplace specific?
no, I'm sadly not.
I mean, I'm very game to go fight that ancient dragon, right?
I just feel like it's a big world, and dragons have big wings.
Look, there's a shitty druid that doesn't want her here, but like, fuck him. You guys should both stay at her lair, and we'll fuck whatever that druid says.
He says, "Stay at her lair. No, I need my own lair." He says, "Dragons don't share a lair, well, except when mating. But it's not something that's permanent. I need to find a new lair. Well, I don't, because I have the tower as my lair. But
You said
yeah."
we just talked about how we could cohabitate. You were fine with that.
He says, I said I was going to her lair now to spend some time.
No. I'm talking about before when we were like in picking the berries off the field.
And he says, "Well, not. I didn't mean permanently." He says, "That's not something dragons do. We don't share our lairs. It's weird." He says, "Every dragon has their own treasure hoard."
So you,
So
you
I
never thought about combining treasure hoards with another dragon?
No. He just gives you this really like weird look. Like, why would I do that?
I just facepalm.
Wouldn't that make a even bigger an even bigger horde though for you both to like look in awe over?
He just laughs. He says, "You don't know dragons very well, do you, Glenn?" He says, "Our treasure is our kind of like our symbol of strength. I mean, you can't have shared treasure. It's ridiculous." He says one of the dragons would end up killing the other over small disagreements about the placement of a magical sword. He says the dragon's lair is
beforehand?
it's signature. It's part of who you are. I mean, it's like, can I share my wing with her? Well, I guess I could try, but it couldn't fly very well if we were using the same wing.
What if you made a lair next to her lair?
Give me a persuasion
Oh.
disadvantage.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna use inspiration
So it's
to
straight
turn
roll.
this into normal. Yeah.
What if you were just next door to each other?
Brilliant idea.
This is again, it's a very strange suggestion. I mean, just
Wait,
bumping into
what'd you do
each other.
beforehand?
And, who would the kobolds know to worship if there are two dragons flying around? They'll all get confused, and
You could get your own separate group of kobolds.
then they'd probably attack her group. It is just this confusing logistics. What you're suggesting is not something dragons usually do.
What'd you do beforehand, though, with her?
He says, well, we saw each other every now and then. We had eggs together at one point. Normal stuff.
So there's no, moving in.
He says, no, of course not. Every dragon has their own space. You don't move in.
I guess it's
What is
just
moving in? He says, well, I guess that's... your people do seem to have that, where they cohabitate and become mated pairs for life. So I guess I could understand where you're coming from. But no, dragons do things a little different.
Huh. That's interesting, just because, yes, from a humanoid standpoint, usually when you're courting someone, you want to spend more time with them, and that usually leads to moving in together.
He says, well, that's too much time, but you do make some interesting points. He says, I have lived with humanoids before, as...
yeah, maybe you could find a lair, maybe, not next to hers, but maybe just, a mountain or two away, far enough away that, the kobolds won't get messed up, but, close enough that, it's just a quick little jaunt over to, visit her if you want to.
Give me another persuasion with disadvantage.
Yeah, you just really don't want to spend time with her.
He says, we just met again. How about we talk a little before we start putting our layers next to each other?
That's true. You guys, even more so, you guys live a long time, so no reason to, be rash. And so I totally understand. I'm just glad that you're going back to her lair.
He says, yes, I'm curious to see how she's reorganized all her treasure. And I'm happy she trusts me enough to show me. It's a pretty big step for a dragon.
I'm hoping that's not the only thing she'll show you. And he and gives him a thumbs up.
Oh, we'll see. And he smiles. We'll see. All right. Well, I'll see you lot back in Issyk. He says, don't do anything I wouldn't do. And if you need me to come burn the place down, I don't know, give me some kind of magic signal.
Can we give him a sending stone?
Oh, maybe Zana would want to do that with me. Do you think she's still angry at them? That might be fun.
All right, relax.
I just kid, mostly. All right.
I'd rather fight with you against the ancient dragon than fight against you.
Is there some type of weather that's not very common in the area, like hail or something, or sleet, or?
Up in the mountains, snow and sleet and hail are all pretty common.
Well, I mean, in Issyk, because I was basically going to say, I have control weather. If I want you to come burn down the place, I'll just say I'll make it hail or something.
He says, well, I can't see Issyk from here. We're several days' journey.
Oh, well.
He says, I more thought you had some kind of magic spell like you guys do.
You don't have a sending stone?
I mean, I can make you dance. He kind of shrugs and
just raises an eyebrow at you.
I mean, I could show you if you want to dance against your will, but it's just other than that.
So he nods. He says, "No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm still kind of mad the last time you made me dance."
We made him dance?
I think it was in combat.
I thought you did make him dance at one point.
Not Gavix. It would have been Malin or somebody.
It was Malin?
Yeah, I don't.
Never mind.
Yeah, it was probably.
I feel like that would have been a
a pretty ballsy move.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
it's
I'm
just like-
misremembering. But he says, well, before I go, he walks over to Uslag and gives you a hug and smiles. He says, "Thanks for keeping her alive for me. You're a good
She
humanoid."
kept us alive, but yeah, it's we did have to refuse the Shadowlord's wishes in order to keep her alive. So yeah, it's a pretty big thing.
He says, "Well, I don't know who the Shadowlord is, but he sounds like a grade A asshole. So
Oh yeah,
glad you didn't do what he wanted, as I would have been sad if she went away. And thank you to the rest of you for making this happen." And he says, "This feels good. I'm glad I listened to you on this."
okay.
And with that, he says, "All right." Going back over, he kind of runs over, and both of them will suddenly transform into large dragons as they fly north together. Their wings,
Yeah,
massive wings, beating against the air.
Glenn needs to have his like end of a movie moment, so he just like he puts his arm around Uslag and Malin because in his mind, in this scene, in the end of the movie, perfect scene, they're both standing on each of his sides, so he's around him,
Oh.
and he's like,
He just nods.
"God, I just love a happy ending."
I wouldn't call it an ending, but it's happy. I'll give you that.
I mean, just because like this is where the movie would end. The dragons are flying off into the sunset.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
What in the seven hells is a movie? Are we ready to go back? Boulder Bomb says. Seems like a huge waste of time. Bunch of dragons.
Yeah,
hooking up.
let's go back. I've got my own date.
He says, "Well, not anymore. You're 7 days late for your date, or 2 days late."
Well, I let her know it would be a little bit.
All right, so I assume you're just traveling back to Issyk. Unfortunately, I think you're a lot slower now.
Yes.
Would you like to return rather more quickly?
Oh.
I'm the teleporter here, old lady.
Well, fine then. Do your thing.
And he busts out his Saturn. He plays a tasty jam and casts teleport back to Issyk.
All right. So magic swirls around all of you. I assume all of you are willing.
Yeah.
Where are you teleporting to exactly?
I would say like just in the courtyard.
Of the, I don't think you went to the keep, did you?
Or how about in the tavern?
Right in the middle. All right.
Yeah.
So magic
Going off the
swirls
welcome
around as you hear a bunch of screaming and people start fleeing away.
Oh my god.
A bunch of guys draw swords. They're like, "What the? Oh, it's those
Like
guys."
waves.
And the guards
Always
say
an
it's,
entrance with you, isn't it?
Hello, friends.
it's
That was
those,
pretty badass.
the guy who was here 2 days ago. He bought drinks.
Yes,
Spooklanders or something.
That's crazy.
I'll round on the house for if anybody remembers the actual name of the group.
There's some thinking. Oh, Splitlanders. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Now I remember. Okay. All right.
Rounds on me.
He says, "All right. So, yeah, you're buying drinks for everyone.
Yeah. Cheap.
Cheap drinks. All right. Give me
Let the
Well.
Miller Lite flow.
a Miller Lite, yeah.
That's the Coors Banquet or the Pabst. Pabst
PBR.
Flow.
PBR. Yeah. All right. So you're buying cheap drinks for the house. Give me a persuasion for something else. So a couple of guards walk over and they say, "Hey, could you just be careful about using magic right in the middle of a place like this?" He says,
Sorry, we didn't. I wasn't. Didn't. Have a big tour around Issyk, and this was one of the few places I very vividly remembered that I could teleport back to. Apologies.
Well, the biggest issue is, we do have some of the Crimson Blade people here. I mean, they're more iffy about that stuff. We don't care, you guys You guys are cool, but technically you're not supposed to, and we just don't want any trouble.
I put a beer in
I
his hand.
understand.
Yeah, he takes the beer and starts drinking. Alright, so I'll say if you got the cheap beer for everyone, say it was like 5 gold pieces to buy everyone booze at the bar.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is probably... Well, it's still pretty early since you used teleport. I'll say it is... What time is it? Maybe it's like 9 o'clock in the morning.
And we're drinking beer.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And
It's 6
apparently
o'clock
everyone's drinking early today.
Oh, the night shifters just got off,
Yeah.
Yeah. The night construction crew was doing some work on the buildings.
Nobody works harder than the night crew.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you want to do? You're drinking with these people, enjoying some booze.
Now, Uslag, was there others here in Isik that you wanted to visit, or is our next goal this blue-haired gnome you've told me so much about?
I think the Arani is probably an important one to visit, but Chiron might know something of him. If we want to check in with him first.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like we
I
should.
couldn't remember if we checked in with him or not last session.
No, we decided to.
Okay.
No, I feel like we have plenty of time to
dragon.
kill.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to go visit or anything, yeah, I mean that's absolutely fine. I mean, I just don't see why you're very against Gavrik. Just like we're not saying obviously we're going to give up the tower. It's our tower. But like, why didn't he? If he wants to just hang out with us there, also, I don't see the issue.
I think I was under the impression that we would give him the tower if we were able to. But
Yes, it's just I don't know if we're able to is the issue. So I do want to get with Hollow Hand, try and find his annoying ass here at some point.
Why would we give him the tower though?
why would we not?
Well, because it's kind of meant for us. Like we're literally we're like the tower recognizes us. I used to work there. Apparently, I mean, like it'll be a really good base for us.
Yeah, I mean,
Access to the Hollow Point network, the library to
let's
use.
have a limited supply of power.
Yeah, but we have plenty of soul crystals.
Well, I know I, for one, would love a chance to do more research there, Eli says. And what about those portals they have set up? Something about finding a way to night weather? That seems like it could yield some, something valuable to us.
I mean, yeah, that's also like part of our destiny that we literally need to fulfill. So,
Yeah, Straya, since you spent time in the astral plane, do you know anything about a weapon of constant?
Oh, she had to step away.
Oh,
She said.
whoops.
Oh.
Bad.
But we can check with her when she gets back.
back to the original point, I guess. I mean, I don't see an issue. I mean, I'm all for we go fight an ancient dragon, but like, regardless, I mean, if they want to go and having 2 dragons join the party, or at least adjacent to the party, that would be pretty. I don't know. I think as a minimum, that would be excellent security.
That's true. If the red dragon made his lair at the tower, assuming he didn't kick us all out. But I mean, you saw how weird he was about just sharing space with another dragon. Think he'd share space with all of us?
I mean, he's been doing that for like the past how many weeks? I mean,
Yeah.
Says,
I
yeah,
mean-
but not as a lair, just traveling with us.
yeah, but he
This is-
quite physically can't kick us out. So,
Well, I just know he. I mean, I know a little bit about dragons. He says from my study of magic, and he is correct. Dragons view their hordes as almost an extension of themselves. That's why they're so protective of their treasure. They definitely don't share it with each other or with anyone else. It's like like an extension of who they are. So I don't know. It might be troublesome. If he does end up using the tower as his lair, we might have to figure out a way to keep him and his stuff kind of separated from the rest of us if we're going to make that work.
I mean, I was also. I mean, if he wanted to go and set up shop where the ancient dragon is, which is right next to us, I'd be very down for that.
He says ancient dragon would be quite the battle. I don't know if we want to risk that.
2 dragons plus us. I mean, it would be very epic, but I think truly legendary.
He says, well, if we're going to do that, we should probably spend several weeks researching what sort of allies this ancient red might have. But I still think it's a bad idea.
I still think it's a bad idea as well.
So
I don't understand why we need to go kill something that's hanging out in its home and not bothering anyone.
I mean, well, it's an idea birthed by Malin. What do you expect?
Hey, you wanted to go with it. You were the one who were all for the treasure.
you haven't known Malin very long, Estrella. I'll just tell you that he is definitely one for some fighting. He enjoys his battles.
So it's just a matter of wanting to prove yourself and say you went up against an ancient red.
I mean, yeah, first it was Meatloaf, and then it was Froggy, and then, I mean, yeah, look.
Meatloaf? Is that a meal?
Well, we made a meal out of him, am I right, guys?
Farago was a fierce ally of mine. I don't want you calling him Froggy.
Wait, who said that?
Who said that?
Oh, is that
Only
the god in your head?
Only one person heard that.
Yeah, okay.
Malin's looking around. Wait, what? Who said that?
It's like, oh, okay.
Eli says, but anyway, yeah, I think it would be an ill-conceived, at least not something we just do off the, just for fun. We should definitely look into it if we're going to fight a red dragon of that power level.
Of course, I'm not saying we just run in there, dilly-dally one day, But, I mean, again, regardless, I mean, the treasure and the loot, and we could potentially unearth there would be quite helpful.
Since I do still owe you all... Go ahead.
If we heard tell of a specific weapon or item that we knew for sure would turn the tide of our agenda, then yes, maybe I would consider it. But we don't know what's in there, and there's no guarantee it would help us. I don't care about riches for riches' sake. So
I agree. I'm not trying. This is not like if we wanted to get rich quick scheme. I think we could just keep raiding the vault the fire dragons have. But I think, if we're trying to find, and I'm being serious about this, guys. I mean, what I'm saying is, if we are trying to find loot that could potentially, really items that could help us really tip the scales in our fight. I mean, we've gone a lot of places. Honestly, where else would you expect at this point to go find these opportunities? I mean, we've gone to the Rune Tower. We've raided the Fire Giant's mythical vault. I mean,
what about this teleportation feature that you said you've discovered with this tower?
Oh yeah, the tower can teleport.
Well, is that not something you'd like to explore, like where it can go?
Well, I think from what we know, it can travel over Gaia, but and could be other dimensions as well. But it's low on power, unless we use Shadow Crystal to power it, or I forgot what I was going to say. What else? But the point is, we want to get this tower back to Nightweather.
As well, I can certainly look into it once we get back. I know you have... What's his name doing that?
Slovik.
Yeah, I know you have Slovik researching ways to use the tower. I can certainly help in that. Do we have any more of those crystals to increase its power even more? Or is it just... it's just the one we have.
Crickets. Absolute crickets.
There aren't any in the party inventory.
Oh, I thought Uslag had one.
She might.
We should have 2 giant ones and 1 regular one, right?
Let me just check my bag of holding. Oh, that would be in the because Chomsky was carrying them, and I think he said something about giving them to the party inventory. The
Oh, maybe let me look again.
Uslog's bag of holding, maybe.
We could check
At least
Chomsky's sheet.
he
Technically, he
mentioned-
is still in the background.
Oh,
I mean, I don't see anything called a shadow crystal listed in the party inventory.
hmm.
Yeah, let me check Chomsky.
But I know it. Yeah, now that you say that, I feel like I remember that as well. Like him saying that he just like he passed that hollow token to Arapel. I thought he did pass Uslug some crystals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know
But
this.
I-
This
But
whole
I don't
thing
see it
got kind of
recorded.
redone. So.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there a Chomsky bag somewhere? Because I thought he made one as well.
Well, his was an infusion,
Yeah.
I think.
Is that still listed somewhere?
No,
We took it out of the party inventory because we assumed he carried it with him.
Did you delete the stuff that was in it, or is it...
No, we moved the stuff to Uslug's bag.
Oh, but you're not seeing a crystal in Uslog's bag?
I'm not.
Maybe we didn't have one. Thought we did.
Let me go.
we
check
definitely
the-
did.
let me
We
go
had several
check
crystals.
A couple
Yes.
of shadow crystals. Oh wait, partially charged soul crystal. I have 3 in my actual inventory. In my. Wait,
Oh, okay.
And we should have at least 2 giant
In
ones, I
my-
think.
I have it written.
I don't know if you have
what
any
does it say?
giant
Bag of
ones.
I
There's
just
only
have 3
one...
partially charged soul crystals.
There's 2...
Oh, and a giant soul crystal. I have it listed
There you go.
in
Yeah.
my inventory, but it
You
says bag
might-
of holding because I think
There's 2 opportunities to get a giant soul crystal. And I know you don't have one of them because the dragon's still alive.
Right.
right.
So,
The other one would have. We did get the giant one from the ritual near
Yes.
New Havis.
Yeah.
card.
New
Yeah.
Havis
Oh,
card.
okay,
That's
so
the
gotcha,
other
yeah,
one.
okay.
One
Okay, so we have one. Right?
So you have
from
one.
before
yeah, we do
anyway.
have
Okay,
one.
So I have one. All right.
Because you didn't let the crystal get destroyed. So yeah, you do have one, and you have, you said how many normal ones?
3 partially charged normal ones.
I think those are the ones we found in the field, the frozen field of everlasting ones, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah, and I think I put that they were in my bag of holding, but I put it in here because at the time everything was getting redone.
yeah, well, as
something,
long as
so-
they're, I mean, I assume they're
Yeah.
not just in your backpack because you kind of have to keep
Yeah.
those in a bag of holding.
Yeah.
So why don't you just move them over to your bag
Yeah.
for now? But yeah, he says, well,
Technically, that's where they were.
I think the giant one would definitely do the trick, but we might want to save that. I mean,
I
unless
feel
if
like
we're not
it's our
teleporting
only
the
one.
tower. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think if it's our only one, there's probably better things. Is
Yeah.
the tower
Yeah,
really beyond just being a resource? It's something we're going to need.
If it'll get us to night weather, I mean, that would be phenomenal.
Are we sure it
You
can
know,
do that?
Well,
Didn't well I go Glenn didn't I can't believe I'm forgetting his IRL I'm forgetting his name. The Archlich.
Oh,
Starts with a D, doesn't it? I think. It's
I'll
like
look it up.
Slovic.
Thovik, yes, Thovik, yeah,
Thovik.
Thovik. Yeah, didn't Thovik, yeah, he said like that it has that capability, it was just lost. But if we
Yeah.
were able to rediscover it, he would actually join.
And actually, from
Yeah,
his
that's true.
old notes, it sounds like they were trying to figure out a way to do it with those
Weapons.
constant items
Okay.
/ weapons.
So
Oh no,
We know that before we agreed to give it to a dragon.
no, that's true. Australia, you spent time in the astral plane. Do you know anything about a weapon or an item of constant?
Well, I haven't heard anything called particularly that, but I have researched, and she might kind of go off on a little bit of a ramble of like,
And because of
board.
your background, you would probably know a bit about the constant items.
Oh, I would. Okay. All right.
So
Then
you can assume you do know some stuff.
Then she would share whatever she knows.
Well, I mean, basically, you would know kind of what's in the lore section of the Discord. Just items that kind of attach themselves to people or humanoids of not necessarily importance, but who generally have an effect on the strands of fate, kind of similar to the Zation.
Yeah.
Though they almost seem like enemies of the Zation. Like the two are very often against one another.
The constant items and the Zatian. Yeah, I
Well,
don't remember reading
the
about
constant items choose humanoids who are known as constants of whatever persuasion the item is. So there's like the constant of vengeance, the constant of knowledge, almost like these abstract ideas of things.
I don't actually remember reading about this. I thought I had read all the lore stuff, but...
Alright, well maybe I don't have it in there then.
Yeah,
So this
we
might
were
be
told
new,
of
new
those.
stuff.
But yeah, we were told about them
Yeah.
in this group, yeah.
But we
Yeah.
weren't. We were told also that our kind, the Zatian, cannot use them,
No,
but our allies could.
not that, at least from what you've been told, that you, well, generally, from what you know, Estrella, constants choose who wields them. Like, you didn't even think it was possible to find a constant item without a wielder. Like,
But how do you know?
usually when they show up, they're, in history, they're being wielded by someone, or, yeah. So it's kind of odd that these dwarves figure out a way to find just the items. Because it's almost like they choose when they want to reveal themselves, and they always have a very
Right.
specific purpose for why they do so.
I would like to review those notes a bit further that you found in the tower, see how it is they exactly expected to locate these items. Is that what you're looking to do next, then, is to perhaps locate one or more of these items?
Well, it's supposed to be when all four are found. That's when the path to Nightweather is revealed, allegedly.
Well, let's get on it, then. First things first, this nuisance of a gnome. Are we going to go see him?
Do you all think that's if it's going to help us not get locked out of our tower? Maybe.
I think it is definitely a really good option to resolve the current gnome's occupancy. So,
Yeah. Once that's out of the way, then we can figure out how to convince the dragon to let us use his lair as a research facility and transportation device.
Yeah.
Step 2. That seems like the harder job. Convince a dragon to share his lair.
well, he didn't even uphold his end of the deal either, so I don't understand.
In his mind, he did.
Well, you know.
If we teleport his lair to Nightweather, is he planning to take up residence there? How will that work?
I don't know.
That is a very good point, actually.
Well, if
But, hey,
anyone can convince him, it's Glenn here. I've seen him do some pretty crazy stuff with his persuasive abilities.
To modify his memory to forget that we ever promised it.
Yeah, I don't think that
modify
one.
the memory of the dragon.
And that might be
All
an
right.
easy way to fix it, but if it doesn't work, then he might be really upset.
Right. All right.
I'm not too afraid of him being upset.
Well, what if Zana also gets upset now that he's friends with her? I don't know. I think we should be careful about whose memories we're modifying.
Actually,
Agreed,
I
it's
don't know
general.
that. I think that was out of character because Estrella has not seen Glenn do that.
Oh,
All right. Well, anyways, if you want to go see, you want to see Chiron, let's go over there.
Yes, let us find this librarian of yours. I'm most interested to see his library.
all right. So you're going to Chiron, which I guess I could bring up Issik's map. I need to redraw Issik with everything fixed. So I only still have the wrecked version. but I'll kind of use it as a kind of base idea of what the place looks like. Just a little bit less falling apart. So you travel over to the keep, which does have a bunch of guards, all wearing the Asmira coat of arms. As you approach, one of them steps forward and says, halt, civilians are not allowed in the keep. Oh, actually, you are armored. Are you mercenaries of some kind? What's your business?
We're not civilians. Any, did you know of the foxgloves?
Says, no. Should I know of the foxgloves?
Well,
One of the guards says, they're that group that helped clear out some of the undead before the city was taken over. He says, oh, all right.
yes.
What about them?
We are allies of the foxgloves, and we wish to see Chiron, the librarian.
He says, have you been granted access to the keep by someone? Did they give you a piece of paper by any chance?
Did they?
Glenn would step forward and says, my name is Glenn Westerwin. I'm in the employ of Mrs.
Lady Blackwater.
Lady Blackwater. I'm here on a mission. I'm here on a mission of hers.
All right.
If you could please grant me and my companions access.
So Glenn would produce some paperwork that you guys have never seen before. The guard looks at it. He says, oh. All right. Come right in, sir. He motions for you to come in.
Thank you.
All right. So you enter into the courtyard. Uslag would be pretty familiar with this area where you had met the dragon. Although now, instead of being full of rubble and ruins, there's a bunch of buildings that have been put up, mostly made of wood. The old blacksmith is still where you left it, next to the keep. And there is that door going down below the keep.
That would be where we go.
All right,
See Chiron.
There's a guard there. I assume Glenn just shows his paperwork, and the guy would nod and allow you entry.
Yeah.
You know that Asmira and Blackwater's houses are fairly close. Which is probably why you're getting so many, free passes. But you go down into the below area. Did you guys kill the golem down here? I don't even remember. Let me see.
We killed a lot of stuff down here.
I wasn't here for that part, so I don't know.
Big golem to destroy?
Check the dungeon map.
I mean, can you get by without killing the golems? We've always had to in the other groups.
Yeah, you can. Depends on which way you go.
Mm.
Oh no, you hadn't. So the statues are still here.
Hmm. How interesting.
I'll probably remember once I see the.
Now, is this an area of the keep that is not really being used by the humans, or is there traffic through here?
When you get down here, there's no one here. It looks like it's been cleaned up a bit.
Oh yeah.
Give me a moment. I have to pull your party token on. You remember there being a bunch of rubble, which is no longer here. Where is it? Party. So yeah, you come down the stairs through the door. The old statues are still there, guarding that room that I don't think you ever went in.
Yeah, we never.
Oh.
We never went in that room.
You make your way down.
I think we fully intended to return to Isaac.
Yeah, but you got caught up.
We got a little sidetracked.
You make your way through the ruins here, and as you approach the door, a voice would say, You are in the wrong area, friend. Please go back upstairs. Your people are not allowed down here.
Chiron? Uslog? Foxgloves?
So there is a silence. And then... Give me one moment, I gotta look for something. So there's a silence for a moment, then a flash of light. And
Oh, you can come out here.
appears
Nice.
in the...
Oh, you left your library.
He says, Uslag, it is good to see you again.
Oh.
Hi.
He says, yes, I've co-opted the surrounding areas that you all cleared. He says, I can now move freely about this level, including just outside the door. I don't recognize anyone with you.
Ah! Glenn just kind of like shouts as soon as he sees.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's not what I expected from, I thought it was like a...
Fascinating.
It was like did not prepare you guys for this.
Yeah, so
Estrella
a
is
very
librarian.
large,
Estrella's like peering at him, probably a little bit rudely because she's so intrigued.
a very large bony creature with huge claws that look almost like pikes, like you could impale you on them. Stands at about 9 feet tall, all like skinny and gaunt. Red pinpoints for eyes, and his skull is kind of spiky. He says, introductions are in order then. I am Chiron, Grand Wizard and Keeper of the Old Dwarven Library. Under Isaac, obviously. And you are?
These are the Splitlanders. I'll let them introduce themselves, because I'm terrible at introductions.
Alright, so sorry, Glenn, what were you saying?
Oh no, just ah!
Ah!
Just as soon as he sees him, I'm like, oh my god, what the hell?
He says, I apologize. My appearance has been twisted by the necrotic energies that made this place an undead city. I used to be
No,
a
no,
human.
that's sorry. That was rude of me. I blame Uslag for giving me zero fucking heads up. Uslag, what the hell?
That makes two of us.
He was undead, right?
Yeah, but there's undead, and then there's like he just like points at him with his hand, like the bat.
Just stares at you with a big mouth full of teeth. He says, yes, I know my form is not the most comforting, but I assure you I am not an enemy, and I will not harm you in any way unless you try to harm one of my books.
Well, by your speech, you are most learned and genteel. It is my honor to meet you. I am Estrella Fardrift.
Estrella Fardrift. He says, you have the smell of the astral plane about you.
Good knows. I've just come from there, but a day or two ago.
He says, it's been a long time since I've been anywhere but this library. You seem like someone versed in knowledge.
I am not the smartest that I have met, but I certainly do appreciate the value of knowledge and work towards its acquisition and protection.
I see. He says, well, why have you come back, Uslag? He says, I assume there's a reason for your visit, or did you just come to say hello?
Well, the opportunity presented itself for the first time, and since we left, it's been quite a ride, and we have uncovered some more information that you might have some insights on. So we would like to pick your brain.
He
perhaps.
says, well, perhaps we should go into the library then. It seems pointless to just stand out here. He kind of motions.
Estrella looks downright eager.
Yeah, he motions a finger at the double door, one of his large pointy fingers, and it opens inward. He says, come, follow me.
Uslog just like turns to Glenn.
Says,
Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
how rude of me. I assume you all need light to see.
I'm good.
He will snap his fingers, and a couple of light crystals will light up the area.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, look, there's another Chiron.
That is my clone who doesn't actually exist. The trick of the eye, your mind playing tricks on you. There's only I, the real Chiron. He says, but I had this area made into a proper laboratory after you left. It's been most useful. He says, and my library, of course, is where you remember it being. He says, what information do you have to share with me? Perhaps you've brought me some books? He looks eager.
I do have a couple books in my inventory, but I didn't actually invent what they are. But I would say that Estrella would offer them.
So as you take the book out, he would kind of wiggle his finger a bit, and it would, assuming you're willing, it would float off your hand and kind of up to him. It kind of flies out in front of him, and he says, "Oh, I don't have this one."
I assume they're very academic, whatever they are, you know?
He says, I will add this to my collection if you don't mind. Perhaps I could...
My pleasure.
He says, perhaps I could give you something for it.
Well, I would love a peek at your library.
He says, well, now that you've made a contribution towards it, consider yourself welcome.
I am most appreciative.
And he says, I haven't seen a warforged since the warring between the city faction and the Asmira. Are you one of their numbers? He looks to Malin.
Neither. I am not from this land.
So, well, you are welcomed as well. I don't suppose you have a book you could give me for the library.
Not quite. I appreciate, of course, reading the books, but I don't carry quite any on me.
He says those gauntlets you bear, they're artificer weapons. He says, are you one of the crafters?
What do you mean by one of the crafters?
He says, well, the artificers are well known for their magical crafting ability. He says, I assume maybe you are one of the Artisans Guild? I've seen many of their number in the city lately.
No, I'm quite old, actually. Unfortunately, I don't know much detail since my memory was wiped, but I used to be in the employ of the Rune Masters.
Says, I see. And you were unable to retrieve your lost memories, I assume?
Yes. Apparently some event of traumatic consequence occurred, which one of my colleagues locked my memory behind, and I haven't been quite able to pull that information out fully.
He thinks. He says, maybe there is some way I can help you. I would have to look at my tomes.
Oh?
Well, I can look into it. And he kind of walks this way as the book is now, as he moves, it goes from floating in front of him to just kind of orbiting him, almost like it's one of those little stones.
I'll be most appreciative.
Yeah, ion stones. So he will kind of go back to his normal spot within the library. You notice he already had a couple of books, which he will now have them float over to their various shelves and kind of reinsert themselves into them. He says, what was it that you wanted to tell me, Uslog? You said you had information to pass on.
Yeah, could I just fill him in on what
Everything.
yeah, I'm like,
And actually, this will be good for
do some,
Estrella.
bullet points here, but
It'll take
yeah.
a few hours, but if you want to start talking about all the
yeah,
things
I mean,
you've
if
been
people
through,
wanted to peruse the library and stuff, we
we
could.
could we could pass time.
I would wander around and look at book spines, but I would also be listening because a lot of what Uslag is sharing might be new to Estrella as well, or fill
Yeah.
in details. Yeah.
Probably start with the shadow, the Shadowfell, which was a long time ago at this point. But speaking of the shadow cultists, because I know he was concerned with those that are allied with the Shadowlords. So yeah. But I won't go into it all right now, unless you have specific questions of what he would want to know about. So it's really long.
Why don't we do a break? Do a 10-minute break here, and then we can pass time and have you do that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
While Uslag is telling the story, Estrella will occasionally interject a question about a detail here or there. She's clearly just as interested as Chiron.
Cool. Yeah, if you want to say any of those, then that might help direct me into what I would actually say, because for me it's all a huge blur.
Yeah.
But it's I remember it when someone gives me something to trigger the memory. I'll remember it. But sometimes I just need a prompt. Too much sometimes.
I kind of want to fight something.
I know. I kind of.
It's weird because I don't think that my character is necessarily eager to fight, but honestly, I'm kind of enjoying her mechanics and I want to kind of get better at them. You know,
learn what she's doing. Well, I wonder if I can't believe we never went into that room. I know we had our reasons for not going in there, but I can't remember what they were. I mean, we might have.
I believe the doors were locked and sealed, and there might have been some warnings on them in Dwarven, maybe.
Yeah, I think we approached it and saw that the golems didn't like what we were doing, and then decided to wait. Plus,
did you guys go south? Did you guys go south, down this way?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we definitely had kind of bigger issues to contend with at the time, so we were focused more on getting down through into the keep, deeper into the keep. So
yeah, if I remember correctly, there's some time sensitivity for some groups when they get to that point. So
yeah, we were definitely pressed for time. I think that was mainly the thing, and we didn't want to waste resources fighting whatever could be in that room.
So this is the only part of the keep that you've been in, is these 4 rooms?
I mean, we've been in the entire underground area.
Where there's pipes and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you guys encountered the Alhoons, didn't you?
Yes. The ghosts and everything. Yeah. What else? Yeah. I'm trying to think what Chiron would be most interested in that we.
Probably the Shadowlord stuff.
Yeah.
So the Children of the Shadow, the ritual that you interrupted, what we found out about the giants and trolls, and that the Shadowlords are behind that.
Yeah.
And then the Runemaster stuff that everything we've discovered at the tower, I think. And maybe just tell him about Hollowhand too, because that's a little mystery we're trying to solve.
Yeah. I know he doesn't get out much, but he does seem kind of aware of he's got this sense of what's going on. I feel even though he's kind of stuck in here. I was surprised to see him out of his library.
Yeah, I was too.
I was oh, it's so funny because I was freaking out, and I was just oh, Chiron, you left your library.
Yeah, that's cute. I love it. Well, and I always wondered, like, if whether or not he could get a Warforged body too, the way Dinara did. But like, so far, none of the groups. This is the first group I've seen him leave his library, so that's kind of fun. And one of the groups, Monday, has gone back and visited him a couple times. In fact, we have him crafting stuff for us.
We actually did leave him with a research project, but I think it was someone's personal quest or something.
Ah, okay.
So I don't think it's relevant anymore.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it might have been researching stuff on the Shadowlords, but I'm not.
Yeah, he's
I think
making
it was-
a belt of giant strength for our tank on the Monday group.
Nice.
Because we found the recipe and we had the ingredients, but none of us could craft it.
Yeah. I know. It's a good one. It was such a, like, at this point when we met him, like, everything we met was hostile and, like, or just we barely were able to not make
Was there
things up.
anything interesting in this room when you guys came through that you guys discovered?
I think there was something with this that was really interesting. I know we looted it pretty well. I think
Okay.
it was mostly alchemical supplies. I mean, I could look. I mean, I guess I've got a quick.
Well, and honestly,
easy-
like Lou might change stuff from game to game, so it doesn't even matter like what I
yeah,
think I know,
I
you know.
think
But
Zaris had a moment with that like star, but I think that was just because he at that point I think he still had Guyvox presence, or like
Mhm.
he was still
he was still possessed.
hosting Guyvox. So yeah, because that was before we
Had
met
a
Sana.
passenger.
Yeah, he had a passenger at the time, and yeah, this is actually where we met Xana too. She found us here.
Who? Oh,
Xana.
Xana, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you guys are friends with her because in my groups we've killed her in every
Yeah.
group I've been to Isaac with. So
Yeah, I just
we didn't even find out her name or her gender like in those groups.
yeah, she approached us in her shadow elf form, so that might have helped. And I think she sensed Guyvox's presence in Zaris.
Oh, because of her
And
shadow.
then and then Guyvox was trying to convince us to kill her for her essence, and
Well, maybe that's the difference
refused.
because most of my groups, the PC who was possessed by Guyvok didn't end up staying with the group very far. So they weren't, Guyvok wasn't with the party in the two groups that I did this section with. Yeah. Done parts of Isaac on other groups as well. Because remember when Lou used to like let us sub?
Yeah.
Like, so if a player was out in a game, then another member of the server could sub. So I used to pop in and out of different groups. So I've played different parts of Char and Isaac in lots of different groups. Some of the battles and stuff I've seen multiple times, but I've only played it all the way through in two groups, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, the only group I played through Isaac, we killed the dragon. My monk got the killing blow, and his weapon got enchanted with her soul.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of the characters in one of my groups got, I don't know if it was his weapon. I think he got some sort of ability to phase once per day or something. Like Lou might make up something different depending on the character, but yeah.
Yeah, I got an extra D4 of necrotic damage on my weapon attack, which
That's really, really powerful, honestly.
well, not in Isaac, because everything in Isaac was immune to necrotic damage. But
True.
And the Shadowfell.
But outside of Isaac, like honestly, extra damage on every attack, even if there's going to be some parts of the game where you're going up against enemies it's not as effective against, that's still more powerful than like a once per day ability, you know?
Yeah, which definitely helped me as a monk, because I really felt sorry for me as a monk, so I definitely needed the damage to keep up with the barbarian and like everyone else in my party.
Yeah, my monk, I like her personality and her story, and I'm enjoying her, but I'm really bored with her combat. Heard the new stuff that's coming out has good stuff for monks, so I'll probably check it out for her.
Much nicer, yeah. Just base buff, subclass buff, like
nice.
Beautiful.
Nice. I had a question though. For Lou said that one of the dragons took the shadow crystal, like the other big one.
I think we would
the
have had to
big
kill
shadow
the
crystal was part of her horde.
Yeah.
Who?
But we would nobody in this game would know in character in this game we wouldn't know that, you know.
Wait, who's in the whose horde is it?
Okay, so in this game, they
Right.
allied with the Shadow Dragon, so they don't know what's in her horde. But in some of the other games, we killed the Shadow Dragon. So that's...
Oh, you're saying Xana has one.
Right, that's why Lou was saying there's only 2
okay.
opportunities to get like one of the...
Right. I'm not gonna metagame, but like, so Xana has a Shadow Crystal. Gotcha.
Right. Presumably,
Well,
she's still
in an
got it.
alternate world, she does, because these are all
Okay, yeah,
different
alternate.
worlds.
Right. Okay, yeah. I'm not gonna say let's go get it. No.
Well, he was asking about like where, because you said there's only 2 chances to get it, and you knew that this group didn't have one of them because we were allied with the dragons. So.
Yeah, I thought we gave one away.
Oh no.
My game Xana killed our bard with her breath, and so it turned him into a wraith.
Huh. Wow.
Or
Yeah.
he came back
Glad
with
we're on her
shadow,
good
so we had to
side.
kill him.
Well, and in this game, before Arapel, Carly's first character died in this game at a really low level.
Yeah. Yeah, I started out as
What was her name?
a gnome
Elsie?
rogue.
What was her name?
Her name was Edie.
Evie, yes.
Edie, yeah.
Yeah, she was fun. I love Uslog though.
Yeah, I think I actually really love that Uslog joined when she did too, because it just worked out really well with how her story, like her motivations for like why she's
I
doing.
like Freya too, but I love Uslog.
Xana's was a hard boss fight. We almost did not make it.
I remember really enjoying that fight on both times I've done it. Like, it was a fun fight, and it was a close fight in both of the groups. Yeah, that I've done it with. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just. Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
I will
we
say-
thought we might at some point like fight her, but then once we refused to kill her for her essence, I think that
If
kinda
you
saved
guys want to do battles, then probably going to Isik isn't the best place to be fighting. Like, get into fights.
Yeah. Right.
yeah.
Mal's gonna be like absolutely like chomping at the bit after this trip.
Yeah, we'll go find something for.
I mean, my
for us to kill, but,
expectation was
yeah.
that you were going to go and look for the constant weapons, but
I'm
this is
down
fine
for that.
Yeah.
You
But
can also do
just-
side quest stuff. Like there's no real time crunch right now, other than like overall trying to accomplish certain things. But like you guys can do backstory.
Malin, we've
Also,
kind of
Becky,
explored. I don't know how much side quest there is though, really, because like Malin's like backstories kind of come up, and us continuing to figure out the tower and the Rune Masters and the Shadowlord shit like kind of leads to that, right? And Glenn, your backstory is kind of like following us as your mission and finding out
Yeah.
what we're up to.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the Azamira
Well,
might have some.
I
things
can
for us.
Yeah.
work. I can work stuff in. I don't know, because I'm trying to figure out a system where people give me like ideas that I can work with for bringing their backstory elements into the main story. And there's probably a couple of things we could do with Glenn or Estrella or Malin.
Oh
or
yeah, because
Uslog.
Glenn's kind of got his family held hostage right now. So
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
See that? I didn't know
there's
that.
some stuff, but like I
Yeah,
don't.
there's a lot we don't know
I don't
about
remember
Glenn.
a
Yeah,
lot of
we
the
don't know about,
backstory
yeah.
stuff just because there's so many people with so many backstories. I'm not
Yeah.
sure where I could place that information.
And Uslog, you're pretty like dedicated and driven because your tribe was wiped out, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, you've still got some people. Are they still at Aldrin's
Yeah.
Farm?
The ones that remain, except for there might have been a few that were scattered and still around.
Yeah,
the
I mean, we
areas
could do
around
a
Char. I
thing
think we
where
pretty much scattered, but
they at
Uslog
Aldrin's
is
the
Farm?
like,
rest of them are kind of committed to the cause themselves now because they ended up in the Shadowfell and now they.
yeah,
They're all at Aldrin's Watch now, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
she's like, they're doing this. And
Yeah, I think
I have
after
to
they
do what I can
lost
to-
some people to the Children of the Shadow, they kind of joined the cause.
Yeah.
And because
And I was there for that. Arapel was there for all
Yeah,
of that.
Uslog saw her mentor turn into a vampire. And then she had to kill her. So that was
Ooh,
pretty
vampires.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, she's got a lot against the Shadow Cult.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, the truth is I've written less for Estrella than I have for most. Like I have more of a outline framework than specifics for her. So
Mhm.
Most of my characters I write a lot more.
Yeah. But
You know, we've accomplished a lot lately. You know, we did a rebellion with the fire giants, and we then betrayed the people we were doing a rebellion for, and then
gained a red dragon ally in the process.
yeah,
Get
and
a,
then we-
not a shadow
came away
dragon.
with something, I
ally.
guess.
Made a lot of enemies. Got one ally that's a little bit unpredictable.
yeah, we you know, we discovered the rune tower, discovered about Mountain's backstory and who he used to be, and how he used to be a lot cooler than he is now.
That's crazy.
Malathorn.
And we reunited two lovers. I think we've hit a milestone. You know, I would say.
I feel accomplished.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Potentially decimated an entire ecosystem of mountains in so doing. Yeah, Uslog doesn't feel great
I
about
think
that.
this group
but...
is the max level for the campaign.
Yeah.
Glenn was really trying to make the persuasion roll one he was really trying.
Hey, has it
Give
really
me my
been
ass
that
out.
long since you leveled up?
I can't remember. I think we
It's
leveled up
been a
sometime
while,
in the. I can't remember if we leveled up in the fire giant place or not, or if it was.
Yeah, we
before
did.
that.
I
We
don't
did.
think this date is
Yeah.
correct. Let me just double
Wait,
check.
is
when
level
the last
15 the highest
Yeah.
for this? Okay.
For the
It's
chapter.
supposed to be for this campaign.
Oh come on, you're stopping us just short of the ASI level, man.
I'm not even gonna get an ASI.
We just have to get more
Yeah.
magic items and allies.
Wow, some of these notes go back to 2022.
Sometimes I try to search
Committed.
channels in Discord. Like, so if you go to the search and you type in, and you start to type the channel name, like journal, for example, I see the journal channel for like some groups, but I don't see the journal channel for this one. Like it's like it thinks it's a different name or something. It's so weird. Discord
And then-
search is so weird.
Well then wait, I don't know the max level of this campaign is 15. You mean I'm never gonna get wish?
There is
Nah,
another chapter after this one.
Oh.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
You
just
can
this
keep going.
chapter. Yeah.
The
anybody
16
reach
through
that?
20. No group has
No.
gotten there yet. I think
The other group that I was in that got the closest was in the Roa calls when that group disbanded, and I was so upset, and I came back to this group and was like waiting to get back to the Roa calls. So we've finally like gone past where I've been in that other group.
Well, so then
We can make it.
what is 16 to 20 night weather basically?
the
Ooh.
search for night weather is the only campaign I have that high right now.
Oh. Well, I would say we are on the search for night weather, you know. We did
Australia's
complete the
down.
tower, and you know we're about to start going through those portals, trying to find the weapons.
yeah,
and-
yeah. Let's start finding weapons and see.
Yeah, that
what-
is the route to night weather, is it not?
All right.
But for now, let's tell Chiron all that's happened.
Just make sure to tell him all the stuff.
Give me my wish.
What you can get.
Yeah, and
Maybe I
that's kind of why, because 16 I believe is 9th level spells, right?
Not 17.
17.
Yeah,
Getting
16 is
close.
just is ASI, and then 17 is 9th level spell. And
Oh.
maybe I can,
Yeah, but
maybe I
I
can
mean,
wish Madeleine's memories back.
none of my
That would be
characters are
fun.
ever going to have 9th level spells because I always multi-class. Well, no, I guess if you're multi-class and full casters, you'd have the spell slot, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, you just
So you still upcast.
You just have to upcast, yeah.
Yep.
All right, so we are.
But Estrella is triple class, so yeah.
Same.
My ravenous void.
Passing some time as you tell Chiron all the stuff that you've been through.
Especially Shadowlord stuff in
I mean, I know the ritual.
Shadowfell and the Rune Master stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
and the recent activities like on this plane that we've noticed too, like the
Oh yeah, the
trolls,
trolls.
like
Yeah.
that's in the Feywild, like that's this
Right.
like stuff that's affecting
Well-
this world right now. So
While Uslog is telling Chiron, Glenn is, He is like playing on his Saturn for like dramatic effect at certain moments.
Alright.
He punctuates each of her tales.
Yeah.
And it distracts her every time, and she loses her train of thought.
He's like, oh, sorry. Is anyone doing anything else during this 2-hour story?
I will probably like walk around the library and browse book spines,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm not actually reading anything because I am listening to Uslog's info as well.
Alright. Oh, excuse me. So, if no one's doing anything, the 2 hours would pass.
Nice.
He would say, so you, after defeating Malik, you followed him back to the Shadowfell. Quite the adventure you had there. He says, I've heard whisper that there is also some corruption within the Feywild. But I don't know much about that.
We've heard a couple rumors of that ourselves. We have some allies that know a bit more. Might be
Remind
worth
me, was
looking into.
there corruption in the north?
He says, yes,
And that's
it sounds like agents of Malik have been doing corruptive influences within the mountainous areas, and with the giants, I can only imagine where else his reach is extended. He says,
well, we killed Meatloaf. Don't worry about that.
Yes, as you had mentioned. He says, but we do think, or you do think the Shadowlord is still... you haven't seen him since your fight with him in Issac.
No.
Oh,
we haven't. I don't think we've even.
You faced him in
This,
sorry.
That's
not
the
in
other
Issac.
group.
Sorry. Yeah, we would have told him of our encounter with Gaivok.
Yeah,
Gaivok.
So yeah, we would have told him
the
about
Shadowfell,
Malik
yeah,
and Gaivok, yeah.
He says, well, it's probably good that Gaivok was also forced out of his host.
Yeah.
He says,
Gaivok seemed to want to go against Malik, so they're definitely not working together. He wanted us to join him to fight Malik.
says, that's interesting. I always assume the Shadow Lords work together.
Yeah. We seem to be at odds.
He says, and do we know what their final goal is in all of this? Did you
they
tell
wanna
him
stop-
about what's his face, the gnome at the tower?
Elohim?
Hollowhand?
I think that was something we wanted to get to after we got all caught up, because we have questions about that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So you might know something.
So yeah, he just says, well, I'd be curious what their final, what their purpose in all this is.
Uslag, you started to say something about when he asked about what their purpose is.
Yeah. It's, in a way, they have the same goal as we do. It's just not the way that we want to do things.
He says,
But they want to either escape the cataclysms or stop them altogether, but
he says,
they want to get the night weather.
I should mention, since we're talking about night weather, the gate is still safely hidden below within the open vault.
Oh, the one that where we faced Malik.
He says, yes. I've not mentioned it to any of the newcomers, and it remains a mystery to them.
Yeah.
And it is sealed. No one could discover it.
He says it is in the condition you left it. Assume you left it
I can't
sealed.
remember. Yeah, I don't know if we knew at the time how to unseal it.
Oh, so you guys never opened it?
No, you did. You had the 3 keys.
Oh, okay. Oh, those. Yeah, I remember the 3 keys now. Sorry, it's been so long.
Yeah, you took most of the stuff, but you...
It was the vault. Yeah. I thought you were talking about something
the
else.
night weather vault,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
You left the
Yeah, the
gate
vault-
and a couple of other things in there. But
Okay.
you never...
I think there were a lot of treasures.
Did this group remove any of the pillars? The mobile hollow points?
I don't. No, we didn't. We didn't. You mean like destroy them?
No, like in
Oh.
in the vault there were some pillars, but if you didn't investigate them, then I guess that would...
I mean, yeah, if they were hollow points, we definitely would have, but it would have been our wizard that would have been.
Yeah, I don't
more
think you
invested
took
in
any of
that.
that stuff, according to my notes.
Okay, so that's all still
Yeah.
down there. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's,
And did you like hide
yours-
the entrance or try to close it after?
No, they didn't hide the entrance.
No,
Okay.
we didn't. We kind of it didn't think that we were going to leave Isik at
Yeah.
that point. We were just.
'Cause if I remember correctly, once you opened it with the 3 keys, you couldn't close it again in the same way, right? Or am I wrong?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Well,
that breaks the
Perhaps
seal.
we
But
could visit
Chiron
this
would
vault
say,
of yours and
It
make sure
is-
that it is concealed.
yeah, so it is still down there. Obviously, it's not powered, but it remains, as far as I know, it remains untouched. He says, unless the shadow elves or someone have gotten to it.
Shadow elves.
Yeah, there were
Cool.
shadow elves when we faced Malik, and it was
Right.
Xana and Rotbro who held them at bay while we faced Malik. So
Nice.
that was their part in all this.
Oh, where's Rotbro in this game?
Xana told us that he disappeared along with the shadow elves when Malik was banished. So I have no idea.
No. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we kind of thought we would maybe run into him in the Shadowfell or something. But...
All right.
So was Neil though, but we've run into him on
Yeah, you
this
never
point.
found
Wait, Neil
Rotbro again.
disappeared? Neil disappeared in that battle?
Yes, or at least Xana was like, yeah, everyone disappeared, and so I guess Neil was among them, but perhaps he got away.
And we ran into him in the capital, so...
Yeah, so
okay.
he somehow avoided that.
Yeah,
Sneaky Neil probably ran away from the fight or something beforehand. I don't know.
Yeah,
dodged
you never
behind
really asked him
or
about
something.
it. Alright, so yeah.
I mean, I was surprised to see him, but that was about it.
So what do you want to do?
All right.
Well, tell him about Iranye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell him about Hollow Hand and ask if he knows of any of his activities here.
He says, the gnome. He says, I remember him. Yes, he made himself pretty scarce after you left, and no one else seems to remember him.
Damn.
He says, I was assuming he might join with us in the defense from the Izmira, but he remained neutral. And I think he used some sort of magic to make everyone forget about him and hide his island. Everyone seems to say there is no island there anymore.
Yeah.
Or they think there never was.
But you think he could probably still be there?
I assume he's still there. He says, I don't know. I can't, while I can leave the library, I still can't leave this floor.
Understandable.
Do you know of him ever having other versions of himself?
Gives you, well, I guess he can't really give you a nod look
Yeah.
because he's a skeleton, but he just kind of says, not that I know of. Like a clone?
Or a simulacrum?
He says, well, powerful wizards often use those, but I wouldn't know for sure. I only know Hollow Hand from my limited interactions with you and your group.
Yeah, well, we found a second Hollow Hand at the tower.
Oh, no, that was the third.
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
the third one.
Freya doesn't know that. but that's the
Yeah.
third.
I was like, maybe like that.
No,
Yeah.
that's the third Hollow Hand.
So,
Well, the one that you freed from the prison, the one that melted, that sounds very much like a simulacrum.
Uh-huh.
As they
And that
are
one was
often
actually
made of snow.
fairly easy to deal with, but this one's a little more difficult.
As well. I wish I could help, but I would be cautious approaching his island. He'd probably be annoyed if people from outside once again bothered him. Says the gnome was always a bit eccentric, and he is fairly powerful.
It's so I've been told. It seems that he actually shapeshifted our barbarian here against her will for a time.
Yeah, I was a turtle.
An odd
It
form.
was definitely an experience.
Why would he turn you into a turtle?
I insulted him by sitting on some crates and
Still,
calling him an asshole.
that is still an odd choice for. I mean, usually one would be turned into a snail or a beetle. Why a turtle? It's very specific. Yeah.
Oh.
In any case,
I just
I
figured that was
think that
standard.
it demonstrates. I think it demonstrates that his power is beyond the common, since many magic users can polymorph into basic beast shapes. But in this case, changing her race and making it permanent until he decided to reverse it shows significant skill in magic. Would you not say?
well, wizards can often take control of places, and with time they can increase their power within those places. If he truly had control of the tower for a long time, perhaps he made himself more powerful within it. Says, or maybe he is just extremely powerful. But Wizard's Lair is a much more powerful place for them, magically speaking.
So I don't want to misspeak, so out of character, but like, didn't we get some hint that he might be a Nightweather citizen? Where did we get that?
We did.
No,
get
yeah,
that.
we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think
don't
from-
So I
remember.
assume we would have
Thovik.
shared that
I
with.
think Thovik told us that.
Or was it Thovik? Okay, that
Yes,
makes sense.
Thovik did,
Or
yeah.
told Glenn, and yeah, when Glenn went to visit. I think.
He told us, yes, that's correct.
Did you mention that to
Alright.
Chiron?
I mean, if everyone.
I mean, I don't know that I know. I don't know
Yeah,
that Estrella knows, but unless you guys have mentioned it to her. But
So if you mentioned it to him, he would say, "Oh, it seems unlikely." I mean, that would explain a lot. If he is someone from the first city, then his magic could be very different from what we're used to. So that might make some sense, actually. But why would he have
Yeah.
multiple versions of himself?
I don't know. He doesn't
What
seem to be
goals
aware
does he have?
of it, though.
He's definitely not aware of it. As every time we try to bring this topic up with him, it's almost like a auto mechanism kicks in and he refuses to
He gets very.
acknowledge it.
Perhaps the
That's
original him
curious.
is aware of it, and he has programmed these clones to, resist learning of this.
So, well, regardless, our hope is we can bring this Hollow Hand back with us to meet the other Hollow Hand, and then hopefully that will trigger something.
Says, well, if they are programmed, as you say, not to know of each other, do you think it will trigger something good?
boom.
I mean,
I would just be cautious.
Do you think
So-
the one in the island's got to be the original, though, right?
I
So
have
he
no
would know.
idea.
I think that there's no way to know if you've encountered 3 of these. Just because the one you encountered first, does not mean that he was.
Perhaps you would do better in questioning this Lich about how he knows he is a citizen of Nightweather and what that means.
Speaking of the Lich, Glenn has told me some interesting tales on that one. But it seems that we are not welcome to question him any further unless we offer him a path to Nightweather.
This is all intriguing, as I didn't think there was a way to get to Nightweather.
What about that
could-
teleportation platform you mentioned?
He says, well, I mean, you did find that, but we had just, we had spoken about it, and your wizard, who was your wizard, Rune?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Your
yeah,
wizard
Rune.
had mentioned that the amount of soul energy to activate it would mean you would have to possibly kill many more people just to create the battery that it would require.
Question. Chiron, you seem to have a great deal of more knowledge of antiquity, forgotten subjects. So perhaps,
the lost lore of creating arcane crystals. Would you know if there is some way to locate or detect any that might still exist, or like what can they be tracked?
Not by any means that I know of. He says the rune masters would have been desperate to have such technology. I think they had a few in their collections, but towards the...
Perhaps we should search that tower more closely in case there are any arcane crystals therein.
I do not think it's in there.
He says it's possible, but...
What makes you certain, Malin?
I feel like it would have been already used to power the tower.
Power the tower. Poet.
Well,
Alright.
Yeah, it's yeah. Sorry, it's like I'm not sure where they would keep such things, but I know the whole reason the Civil War occurred was because they were secretly dealing with the Shadowlord to make more crystals through the death of their own people. Well, not the rune masters, but the death of the citizens of the Therian Empire, the secret killings.
Wait. Tell me more. I'm not familiar with this history.
So, yes, the whole reason that the Shadowlord was imprisoned was because several of the rune masters in the earlier days of the 12th cycle had made a deal with him to allow him to do research in return for him providing them with shadow crystals, which he got by secretly killing many Therians, taking their life force and creating the shadow crystals to help the rune masters power their artifacts. Though many of the rune masters didn't know about this, only several of the higher ups did. And when it was found out, it caused a schism within the tower. The rune masters fought, and the Shadowlord during the battle was captured and imprisoned. Guyvok.
I'm looking directly at Malin as this is being told, since we know that he was working with the rune masters and wanted to forget something. But yeah.
What, you think I worked with them?
Well, you don't know whether you did or did not, do you?
I just stare blankly. I just stare absolutely blankly, like,
Yeah. Do we think that this Thovik was aware or one of the unaware? Is there any evidence one way or the other?
Well, I'll say Eli will say Thovik's reign as Arch Rune Master was towards the end of the life cycle of the 12th the 12th cycle, so the Civil War would have happened long before he was born.
Oh, so the war was resolved before he was Rune Master.
Yeah, the Shadowlord was captured, I believe, in 1586 of the 12th cycle.
So some
about
500 years.
Yes, before the end.
So after the Rune Master, or the Shadowlord was imprisoned by the Rune Masters, how did the Rune Masters continue to power their machines?
As well, they already had a pretty hefty collection, which they mostly kept quiet about. They didn't turn over their shadow crystals to the government at the time, who agreed to let them keep them because of how convenient these artifacts made life for many of the Therians.
I see.
He says, and even one shadow crystal could power an artifact for several lifetimes, especially the smaller ones that they used. He says, so the shadow crystals that had been created remained as a power source. It was a very controversial decision, to say the least.
But it sounds like it was not well known. Only some select few even knew of the ethical controversy.
That's correct. It was known, at least from what history tells us, by the rune masters and the higher up within the Therian Empire, the government. He says, I'm not sure how what my opinion on such a thing would be. He says, but once the crystals are created, to just discard them seems like a waste of the life that was used to make them.
And this is why I believe we carry them, but of course object to them being created. Yes.
Indeed. This is but I assume you only have the one large crystal still. Oh wait, sorry. I assume you don't have any crystals or enough crystals to power the gate yet.
Do you
Because he
know
wouldn't
how
have
many are
uploaded.
needed?
He says, I just know from what Rune told me that I believe he said 10 shadow crystals were needed.
Oh.
10?
Well, shit.
Yeah,
God
that's
damn!
that's a lot of souls.
It would be a lot of death, which is why
Does the large one count for extra?
this is a large one. I don't think I've seen a large one because he.
I'm
wouldn't have
sorry.
seen it in
Actually,
this game.
wait. If Uslag has not shown Estrella the large crystal, then I would not have said that.
I
we
think,
we catalog things. We have like an inventory list of like what is in our pack of
Well,
holding right now.
Chiron definitely wouldn't know about that, so he would say, I haven't heard of a large crystal. Can you show me?
Well, and I think Uslag said she shared what happened in the Shadowfell, so she might have told the story about that ritual that they interrupted.
This is from
Well,
the size of a city could have filled.
they
this one,
didn't
probably.
actually. Did you interrupt it? I thought it still happened.
We
It
interrupted
happened
a
on the
ritual.
Monday group. This group
Yeah.
stopped it.
Yeah.
Oh,
because
so
the
it's not
city-
charged.
yeah, the city-
This group saved New Havenstad.
So
Yeah.
it's not actually a
So it's
large
I
not
think
shadow
it's
charged.
just empty. Yeah.
It's just a vessel. Okay.
Yeah, because the other ones are labeled partially charged, and this one is labeled.
Okay, so it isn't
That's
actually a
just
large
shadow
shadow crystal. It should be a large vessel.
Okay.
'Cause for some reason, I thought you guys
No,
you
that was
didn't stop
Monday
it.
that failed, and New Havenstad
Okay.
got boomed.
So yeah, then that shouldn't actually be a large shadow crystal. It would be a vessel.
For a little while there, Monday and this group were like head to head, so we were like doing stuff
Yeah.
like literally like the same week for a
Just-
while.
So I'll just call it a vessel.
Yeah, a large
else?
shadow crystal vessel. You could put like
Oh,
maybe in
okay.
parentheses like uncharged.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, if you not necessarily unfortunately, but if you didn't let the city get destroyed, it's not charged.
Uncharged. Okay. I think that is from Uslag's point of view, that is fine. That's a good trade.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you are you going to show him the vessel?
Yeah.
So he says, this is quite remarkable. Says, well, there's no power to it, but something like this maybe could open the gate if it were charged. But thankfully,
only we had another way
obviously,
to
you
charge it.
stopped it.
Yeah. This is probably going to remain uncharged if we have no other way of charging it other than taking the lives of an entire city of people.
This is, yes,
So-
these,
I
you
haven't-
might even want to destroy this so no one else tries the ritual.
Oh.
He says such a vessel could still be used for dark purposes should the original creators get their hands on it again, which would be the Children of Shadow, the cult.
Mm.
He says,
Yeah, I don't think they
if
will.
you're not planning to charge it, which I hope you're not, then there's no real purpose to keeping it.
Do I understand correctly that you have some enchantments, some way of keeping those that you do not wish to enter your library out? Is that true?
Sort of. He says, originally I had a way of dispelling Malik's followers, keeping them out. He says, not just anyone, though. I can't keep normal people out, other than through the usual methods of locked doors and threats.
I was just wondering whether this would be a safe place for us to leave items of great consequence.
He says, well, I could certainly hold them here if you wish. I don't think, since the war, the government, the Izmira, have mostly left me to my devices. I've agreed to let their wizards check my library from time to time, but in return, they've kept people from coming down here. So
Well,
I just have to deal with the occasional royal mage.
I mean, guys, unless anyone has a strenuous objection, why don't we invite him to move in with us at the tower?
And I don't think he can leave this place.
He says, I
Is
would
it
love
because
to,
of-
but sadly, yeah, as far as I know, I am unable to leave
He has
my library.
slowly expanded his bounds, but he's still.
He says, wait,
Yeah.
does the tower have does it have a hollow point by chance?
Yeah,
Well,
that's how we got here.
it's
Hmm.
currently a bit of a mess, but
He says, there might
Oh
be
yeah,
a
you
way
should
there.
tell him about that.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, unfortunately, there's no hollow point in my library. But if there was a connection, I might be able to expand my reach into other places connected to the hollow point.
How could we establish a connection?
Well, that's... And actually, I'll say, Uslog, at this point, give me an intelligence check, DC 5. You might remember something Rune said.
Oh no. Okay.
just DC 5. You can make it.
Inspiration?
Oh my
That's crazy. Even if I gave
Not
you
even a natural one.
even if I gave you Flash of Genius, that wouldn't help.
Uslog's just humming, like looking away. What?
Yeah, her she's been a really good student up until this point. She's been very invested, but her attention span is
Yeah, she's just
It's
like,
too
oh, look,
much
a
talk."
butterfly. He says, yeah, unfortunately, without some connection to the tower, I don't think there's much I could do. And I can't leave here to go to one of the hollow points, so I believe I'm stuck.
Perhaps we should investigate this vault of yours. I'd be most curious to see it.
As well, if you can still find it, it still should be in the same place.
I look to Uslog.
Yeah, I have a really good memory for maps and locations, so no problem.
So you know it's
Where are we
probably
at?
going to be about a 5-hour journey to get back to it underground.
Yeah, it's just a matter of like,
But it's
It's
still like
about-
midday, mid-morning, late morning, right? Because we came down here pretty early, right?
It's about 11 a.m.
Okay, yeah.
He'll
So we're good.
say,
But-
the ghouls, as far as I know, have been cleared out. The mercenaries help with that. Though the vampires that came after the fall of the Shadowlord, they were unaccounted for. Says, I believe
I hate
also...
vampires.
Yeah, I think also the Alhoun were dispatched. Their
Most
forces
interesting.
destroyed.
Many things in play here, I would say.
But there might still be dangerous undead down in the cave, so I'd be cautious if you're going down there.
I yawn a little bit. Oh, undead.
Dangerous.
Well, we are most gracious for your hospitality, and I hope to come back and further utilize your vast library.
Oh, of course. He says, you've given me a book. We are friends for life.
Excellent. I will try to acquire further books in the future in case I return to you and can contribute further to your
I mean,
library.
if he wants books, I mean, I'll give him a couple books from the Forbidden Library, and maybe he can get my memory back.
You're not
you know?
allowed to take those out, though. We don't know yet what happens if you try.
Someone
All
else
right.
will get disintegrated. Yeah.
So, Uslog, I am curious to see this vault, and do you think that we could take a little detour this afternoon before we go back to the surface and go
Yeah.
see Hollow Hand? I would be.
Is everyone up for delving
Wait.
into some?
Hey, what are we looking for in the vault?
Well, they said they opened this ancient vault and they left it unattended, and that there are some sort of unidentified platforms that Chiron referred to. Like, I would be most curious to examine these.
I'm
And
pretty sure they
Uslog,
got all the items, right?
Uslog, you're a darling, but it seems that you don't necessarily have the head for, academics. And I just think there's more to be known than what you've shared.
Yeah, usually, I was traveling with
bunch of wizards. Basically, to me, they were all just wizards at that time because I knew so little about magic.
Do you remember
So I never
Mindstorm,
really had to be the
Mooslog?
one to. What?
Do you remember Mindstorm?
Was
Ooh,
that
did they find that in this group?
A weapon?
No, it was a ring.
Ooh, it was a ring.
I don't think you found it, but I just want to double
No.
check if someone
Yeah.
had it.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
So
Yeah.
it is.
Oh, there's
grab
definitely
still.
stuff we left unexplored down there. Yeah.
All right,
Well, I
'cause was
mean,
looking through my
like,
notes.
I mean,
I
the
didn't see
fact that you
anything.
guys never explored this room.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
All right,
So is
I'm
that
gonna-
what the group
Standing
wants to
up
do?
to you
You want to
guys.
head down below?
I'm fine if we want to go on to the Hollow Hand thing, but like that's what Estrella would. She's very
I
curious.
mean,
about
yeah, I
this
mean,
wall.
we're still trying to kill time. I mean, like,
Yeah, whatever people wanted to.
Is Glenn still
because
awake?
Mhm.
Haven't heard from him in a while.
The lecture might have put him to sleep. Got over the shock of Chiron, and
It's
then
like all this lore.
yeah, big lore episode.
Lore episode.
Oh my gosh! And is he
Yeah.
journaling? Oh my gosh, he's gonna hate that.
We just transcribe the video.
He's gonna have to
from the
watch
stream.
he's gonna have to watch the video later if he fell asleep.
so,
All right. Well,
I mean, yeah.
yeah. What do you guys want to do? I'm not sure if Glenn's still
Yeah.
with us. Do you want to
Yeah,
go
unless people
speak with
are
Hollow
feel like-
Hand? Do you want to head down below to the vault?
Oh well. I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm of the mind that we're just killing time. If anyone wants to, if you guys want to go down the vault, I have no problem.
Okay, we might discover something that's of use down there, so it's worth checking out if we're not, dead set on finding Hollow Hand today.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I know Glenn's got a date to get to at some point, but
Well, we'll be back, but like in game, obviously, we'll be back by night.
We hope. We intend.
yeah, I mean that's what Uslag was saying, like in game, that it might take all day. It might take
Yeah.
all night.
Well, let's get started now if it's such a
Okay.
trip, and then I could always bring us back up to the surface a little more quickly.
Okay.
Since Glenn has already done us the favor of quick transport today, I could do so as well.
All right.
All right. So you're headed
I-
back underground. Which passage or which way do you want to take?
I believe last time we went down this way. It's not flooded anymore, is it?
Yeah. So. Yeah. Let me check the map.
Because I believe we held off
Oh
the
yeah,
flood
you fought
for
your way
some
through
time.
the trolls. That's right.
Yeah, and then flooded the hallways again to kill off the trolls. Well, I mean, not quite like that, but it did end up.
Did you reflood them?
Well, so we could only hold off the flooding for so long. We had an ally.
Oh
helping
yeah.
us
So if you
at-
go over
with the
there,
pump.
that's true. The so the pump seems to be broken again because you would find that the way down is flooded.
Bummer.
So you might have to fix the pump.
Can I
Where is
take
the
a look and
pump?
try to fix the pump?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Let me show you where it is.
So Uslog will lead you. So many maps. These aren't as organized because these were from before the folder stuff. Let me see if I can find it.
Before Roll20 said, "Oh, maybe we should make it a little easier on the DMs."
Yeah. So this one I still have just a pile of folder or a pile of maps.
I've only ever DM'd once, and it was, God, it was a nightmare.
Oh, here we go.
I can't even imagine the extensiveness of your maps with the world of Gaian and your campaigns. Oh my God.
Yeah, I got a couple. Just a few.
A couple.
Alright, so you go back down or up the stairwell at this point, because you went up the stairwell from where the
Oh yeah.
columns
So
were.
here. Oh, this is the area, Uslug, that you said you guys.
And I'm just
Yeah.
walking
Yeah,
you
we've
guys
been
through
here.
it because Malin hasn't been
Yeah.
here. So
Nor
it
have I.
looks like
Well, nor has Estrella.
nor has
Yeah.
Estrella, so you notice that there's some kind of strange dark altar that has
Yeah, I've
been
seen this before.
kind of cracked and destroyed by something. It's all broken up. So someone
Oh,
took
cool.
it.
They broke it.
Yeah, someone broke it. You probably don't think much of it as you just walk past, or actually,
I mean, we've seen
Sure.
it's like before.
I guess
It's nice to see it
it
broken.
would look like similar to that one you found out in the Troll Lands,
Yeah.
though much
Mm.
smaller. I'll say Malin. Give me an Arcana check.
All right.
And actually, anyone with Arcana. I'm just thinking Malin.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recognize it from the Trolllands, but I guess
but Malin doesn't have training in Arcana. That's right.
No, I don't.
I do.
So yeah, but you weren't in the Trolllands.
Yeah, I didn't see it before.
So you
but
would
I would be looking at
recognize there's a lot of necromantic symbols on it, but at this point, as I said, someone's destroyed it, so you don't think it's functional anymore.
This appears to be a most foul object. I am glad to see that it has been destroyed.
Alright, so you head over to the
Walking on the
pump
pipes.
area. You notice that there are boards over these holes now. And you would see next to the pump here, it looks like there are some tools. Looks like someone maybe have been trying to work on this already. So Malin, you said you don't have Arcana, but give me...
No.
I guess it would be an Arcana check, even if you don't have training.
Can I, like, stand over his shoulder and be, like, the backseat driver that's kind of annoying? Like, oh, you should move that right there, and
So-
turn that cog.
You can make a check with disadvantage, because this is an artificer thing. Because it's
Oh,
ancient
okay, then.
technology.
I mean, if it helps. That's what I was just
I
trying
mean,
to
you
help.
still might roll higher than him. 13.
Yeah, you did.
Really.
So you're examining this. Something about these mechanisms seems familiar to you. Almost like there's some memory in your mind that that you should have that would tell you about this. You think some of these cogs next to the machine looks like they were made more recently, maybe copied from some of the other parts. As you put them in, you think it should be back together now. You would just have to flip the switch to activate it again.
Alright. So I flip switch.
Alright, so... Oh, wait. Hang on, I gotta check something. Is this right?
Do, 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 do.
Did you guys never free Butcher?
Oh, we did in the Shadowfell.
Oh, and the
okay.
Shadowfell.
Yeah,
Never
we ran
mind
into
then.
him at the Aldrin's Watch.
Interesting.
But then he kind of skedaddled.
But you did free him from here. Okay. Weird. Alright, sorry. Anyway, as you flip the switch, the gears start turning, and they would stop suddenly. Almost like it starts up, but something stalls it. You would hear some water moving through the pipes, and you see that there are a couple of images that would appear, like almost like someone cast an illusion spell. It looks like 3, what are they called? Valves, and all of them are red. Not sure what that means. Also, I'll say that you notice that this mechanism has a shadow crystal in it, powering it.
Oh, what the hell?
Was that there when you were here before, Uslag?
Oh, yeah, so
Or did you guys power it?
we did power it with the shadow crystal. I thought it was something else that we had powered with it, but it was this, I think. But we had an ally.
Do you think that the vault that we are trying to reach is waterlogged, or is it just the passage to it that there is water in between?
The passage to it, I believe, because there was if I remember, there was a kind of a hatch that we ended up going down into that descended into the caves below.
Well,
it was
that's
like
the
a
case.
stone.
I could give us a way to traverse underwater without. I could give us a way to traverse water without.
Yeah, I mean, can't we just remove the shadow crystal and scoop it up for ourselves then?
You could take it out. You don't think the pump would work if you did. So,
All right.
Glenn,
Whatever.
It's not working anyway.
yeah, I was gonna say Glenn. I don't think he has his. Well, I think he's asleep. But Malin, with your passive investigation, I'll say you wonder if there are some valves around here that might need to be open. That might be why they're red on this mechanism. Because you do see a lot of pipes.
I start looking for valves.
Yeah, I'll help look for valves at least.
Investigation, I guess.
My only concern is, so I can give us a way to traverse the water most as if it is our normal environment. But if we were to encounter any hostility, your weapons would be less effective.
Yeah, I mean, let's try to fix the pump, and then on the way back we'll just scoop up the crystal.
They're aquatic
I
vampires.
actually intentionally, because I knew we were going to try and go to Hollow Hands Island, so I intentionally prepared water breathing today.
Yeah.
All right, so give me
We might have been fighting a plesiosaur.
give me an investigation.
Well, see, Estrella doesn't know that.
I have talked about a guardian, but maybe next time I will give.
You did say guardian,
specifically say that Uslag describes.
Anyone can make this roll. It doesn't have to be Matt.
Oh, okay, good.
Although it was pretty funny to see everyone's reaction to Chiron. It's worth it. What's the roll? Investigation?
Ooh.
Yeah.
She's not trained, if that matters.
All right, so you are.
Oh my gosh, poor Uslag.
Valve? What's that?
We really just need Uslag to lift things and throw things.
It's mechanical stuff. It just doesn't. It doesn't read the same way
It's
as
like
nature.
the library all over again. What is happening?
Oh yeah.
So you are moving around, kind of investigating the pipes. And you come to the room over here, where it's kind of flooded. And you would see there is a valve on the floor in here, which I was trying to mark on the map, but it's not working for some reason.
Was this... Oh, I feel like I remember this room being bigger.
Nope,
Is this... Oh, so this room is partially underwater, right?
Yeah, the edge of the room is underwater. Here, I'm just going to use that because I can't find my normal marker. So yeah, the valve here appears to be closed. So you're guessing, you have to probably open all... you're probably guessing, you have to open all three. All right, so you open this one, and you think that should take care of part of the problem.
Okay, guys, 1 down, 2 more to go.
2 more, okay, let's go.
Alright, so give me some more investigation checks as you're looking around these pipes.
Oh my word. I'm really surprised she's rolling so well.
Apparently Estrella is in the zone.
She's locked in.
It's locked in.
Everything's so
like
fascinating.
Right.
I'm just examining
So-
all the interesting things.
Yeah, using the pipes as kind of a guide, you're like, well, where would this be locked off to close it correctly? And you find your way into this room over here, which has another one of the valves on the south area of the room.
Yeah, I crank it.
I don't remember that glowy thing.
I think that's where you were supposed to meet Butcher.
So it looks like it looks like the remnants of some kind of ritual, as there's a bunch of
Oh.
markings on the floor there, but you're not sure what it's about.
Huh.
So I need one more set of investigation checks.
We definitely, maybe we didn't come this way.
Yeah, Estrella is on the ball today.
I can't. Yeah, it's so strange that she's rolling so well because she only has +1 and she's not trying.
Right, so the last valve you would find
Just follow these pipes.
up here on the wall. And as you open it, you hear some water kind of flowing in through the pipe that may have been stuck up from when the pump was last working.
Slog,
Yeah.
did you guys explore all of this area when you were here before?
I think we followed this pipe, and I think we didn't explore every little bit because
Oh, I
we
see.
already
That's
knew that we weren't
here.
going to be getting the.
Oh, there's a dead ghoul there. Apparently they didn't clean this one up.
Yeah, we definitely went this way, and then I think I remember some like there being some like fresh air flow or something, and we ended up following that and just leaving the rest behind.
There are many passages and doors. I just wonder what might be unexplored. All right, let's go back to the pump, I guess.
Yeah, let's go back to the pump.
We were definitely very focused on a certain goal, and we're not really prone to being
Sarah?
distracted from that at this point. At the point that we were here, we were very, very focused. That's
Yeah, no, that
not
makes
always, it's always the
That
case.
was
with
unfair.
that
For
group.
me to say you're not thorough was unfair because, like, if you have like specific focuses, that totally.
Yeah, we were, I think, resisting exploring everything.
All right,
Makes you always thought
so
you would come back and do it. Yeah.
the pump would indeed function. If you pull the lever this time, you would hear large amounts of water flowing through the pipes, and it is continuously pumping.
I do
Oh,
wonder where it's all
Daniel.
going.
So yeah, as far as you remember, this should open up the passage down.
I'm like picturing like Estrella like pointing and directing, like, let's follow that pipe. Oh, right there. Why don't you go ahead and turn? Like she hasn't done anything. She just told Malin to do it.
I do remember last time we had a limited time before the halls reflooded. Does that seem to be?
So
The case.
actually, Malin, give me another. Well, I'll say investigation or Arcana, your choice. I guess it's the same thing.
And I
Yeah, it's the same.
do Arcana since I'm trained. Or...
Maybe.
Okay.
Oh, well, that's pretty good. So you
Oh,
think
beautiful.
this pump, whoever fixed it, which I think it was Rune last time, it may have still been partially broken. You think when you repaired it, you were able to fix the issue, so it should just remain unflooded now.
Oh, okay.
Because yeah, this
Unless
group
we-
didn't have an artificer last time.
Unless I take out the
Just
shower
a
crystal.
wizard.
Oh yeah, well if you take out the crystal, the pump won't function.
Okay, well, on the way back, we'll grab the crystal.
Yeah, I mean that would ensure to keep that area off.
That's
limits
actually
still.
that's actually not a
Yeah.
bad plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been what kept the explorers from the Izmira out of that area was the flooded tunnels.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we should
Might be
probably.
worth- Yeah, if we find stuff down there that we want to keep, that we can't take with us, and we would like to keep out of
All
the
right.
hands of the Empire or
So
unknowing adventurers.
at this point, I won't take you through all the dungeons you had to go through to get there, but I'll describe a little as you go through. So the old ruins below obviously are waterlogged. You'd find a bunch of bloated troll corpses down there. Most of them burned to death, obviously. You would find the valve that was locked closed when you went through, so it's still closed, and I assume you kind of climb through there heading down. You find that elevator that you used last time, which seems to be functional. Malin, you might wonder what's powering it. You wonder if there's another shadow crystal somewhere.
Absolutely.
But
When,
already planning to steal it.
yeah, I'm sorry, but so why are we going through, Isaac?
Welcome back, Glenn.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
The group is heading back down to the vault where they
The vault is the
initially
group-
fought Malik.
Because Uslag has shared that there were some interesting things in that vault that the group never really investigated.
We already found one shadow
You're-
crystal.
There were magic items in the vault, and you guys just left them there.
It's more
Oh,
like
no.
they were pillars or platforms
They
that
took the gold and magic items, but
Yeah,
There-
so
might have been things we missed.
are you gonna seal the valve behind you when you go down, or are you gonna leave it open?
Hmm.
Well, how would we get out if I sealed it? Unless we teleport.
Yeah, that would be the thing. You would have to teleport out if you sealed yourselves in.
I mean, I was going to say just work as we work our way back. I would just take the crystals.
Okay, so you just leave it open for now.
Yeah, for now.
Ooh, I do want to show you the one map, though, where the battle took place. Yeah, I must still have that map. Hopefully. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Oh, and all the old tokens are still here. Delete all these. You want to see vintage Uslog?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yes.
There, I'll just show you the old map because all the tokens are still here.
Well,
My old token.
Vintage Slug you drew, didn't you, Carly?
Yeah, I did. I did. I think
I loved it. It was
that might be the
wonderful.
one that I drew.
Well, you did
So,
a couple versions, right?
Just ignore the
Yeah.
tokens.
This was my that was my very first one.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Quince, Rune.
Oh, I remember Rune.
There's
I
Zan.
remember
Oh,
Zan.
wow. Okay.
I remember Zeris.
Yeah.
I remember. I don't know if I know who this is.
That is Adelaine. I think you met or
Oh yeah,
Aragorn
that
met
was
Adelaine,
after I
yeah.
left. But
So,
yeah, that was.
We'll say Uslag is
I'm gonna
seeing
take-
ghosts
I'd
from her
take the
past, like
stuff-
looking around,
the stuff off.
remembering everyone
Yeah. Take those little symbols off. There we go.
as the ghosts fade away.
Bye.
Bye,
Yeah.
everybody.
That's
Yeah, I
amazing.
mean, I know all of these. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just wasn't me. I was a different character.
All right. So as you approach, the old vault door is still open. Yeah, the
It's
crystal
wide
isn't
open,
there
I think.
anymore. The remnants of the ritual where he was trying to take your souls, the ritual is still there. The pits are still here, and yeah,
that
the
was
vault.
unpleasant to say the least.
Yeah, the vault
Right?
door is partially open. You don't think anyone has been? Well, actually,
Yeah, any signs of vampires?
Glenn. I'll say you. Are you there, Glenn?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll say you and Estrella do see some more recent signs of passage. Like someone may have been down here.
How long ago did you say you were here, Uslag?
We were last here. Let me just check the journal. We were last here sometime around last fall, around like the.
It seems someone has been here since. Look here, and I would like point out the signs of passage.
Well, not sure how they would have gotten in here. The area was flooded.
You know that the caves still connected in some places.
Right.
Because not all the caves were flooded.
Okay.
Only that one level was flooded, and a couple of the caves were. So
Enough
if
time has
you-
passed that something would have made its way through the caves, I suppose.
So if you go over to the vault, that gate is gone.
The gate, like the teleportation platform.
Yeah, the platform that teleported to Nightweather is no longer here.
The entire
Someone's
thing is
taken
gone.
it. Yep,
Wasn't that tens of thousands of pounds?
it would have been. Which makes you
Ooh.
wonder how they got it out of here. But yeah,
I mean, obviously, I don't know that. Estrella doesn't know that. Oh my
you
God.
would still see the pillars you left behind. So those
I
weren't
would
taken.
wander around the vault and examine what's left.
Yeah. So the do you have a? I don't think you left any gold or anything. I think it was just the pillars and the gate. So the gate's gone, but there are still those 4 pillars, which I'll say you would realize look a lot like the hollow point pillars that you've seen in
I would
other
like
places.
to examine one of those.
Yeah, there was so much we didn't know when we were here last. Like, we would have.
So I'll say Glenn and Malin and Estrella, I guess, can make Arcana checks on these pillars. They basically look kind of like stone pedestals with obsidian tops to them.
Are these the ones you're talking about? The ones in the very corner?
No,
Or the-
no, those are support structures. I mean, the ones
Okay.
inside the vault.
The
You can't
vault
see
is
it.
the vault is
Oh,
like
you can't
in
see it
the
on the
center.
map.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you would guess that these are hollow point pillars, which could be used to make hollow points.
And there's 4 of them, you said?
There's 4 of them, yeah.
Oh wow.
Now,
okay,
being
4.
stone pillars, they're extremely heavy, but
Oh.
yeah, there might be a way to make a hollow point within Chiron's library and in several other locations.
Yeah. Based on what I examined in the Runemaster's Teller, I believe that you could move these pillars to whatever location you wish and establish a hollow point. This would be most beneficial for your librarian.
Yeah, I don't think
All
we
right,
knew
hold on a
that
second.
at the time we were here.
The problem, of course, is that it's quite large. I might be able to reduce it, but only for a very short period of time.
Eli
How
Does
long?
says-
anyone have one of those portable holes, so those lovely handkerchiefs that just become spaces?
Eli says,
Just
well,
like-
maybe if we reduce them, we can use teleportation to get them up there. He looks to
very
Glenn.
good point. I would not be able to teleport directly to Chiron's library. He didn't have any plants, you see. But I could take it to the surface. So I don't know that would help. What about you, Glenn?
Teleporting. I mean, would teleport work with something that heavy?
So you probably
if it
have
was
to make it
reduced-
smaller, but if it was
reduced
smaller, you
and it was
probably
in
would.
someone's pocket, could you teleport us directly to Chiron's library? Because Estrella could only teleport us to a plant that she has seen. A large plant that she has seen.
I could. I was just thinking.
Eli says, well, actually, let me check Eli's spells before
I was just gonna say, yeah. Does Eli know enlarge reduce?
I will take a look.
Estrella does.
Oh,
Oh,
Estrella
okay.
does. Oh, there we
I
go.
didn't know. Okay, cool. If that could be reduced in size, so it could be easier carried, then
But if Eli knows that we could take 2, and then we could store one for future use. Just
That's
saying.
true.
Eli says, does anyone know how to create a hollow point? I know I don't.
Well, let us bring it to Chiron, and he might know.
What level's large reduce?
It's only
2.
level 2. Yeah, it's
2.
low.
He says, no, I don't have that. I should probably try to get a scroll for that. Maybe scribe it.
What is? Well, could I? Well, yeah. Okay, I'll remember. I'll have to think about that. Like, I could scribe it on downtime, and then he could learn it, right? Okay.
So
anyway.
I believe that is also a what's it called? Concentration.
Yeah. It only lasts an hour, but if we're teleporting, then that would pretty much. Well, hopefully. Yeah, concentration. Oh, it's only 1 minute. Oh fuck, we gotta be fast, guys.
Yeah, you gotta be like, boom, teleport, all right, run.
Well,
I guess we made it 1 minute because when I'm putting this on allies and enlarging them, that's pretty powerful. So okay.
so Eli would say, well, we can bring them up one at a time, and we can always come back down here for the others. I mean, whoever came down and took the large platform obviously didn't care about these.
I am most curious where that might have been moved and how.
So
Oh my.
survival
yeah.
might actually give you some more information here.
I'm ready.
Alright.
Oh, I think that's Uslog.
No, I'm not.
No, leave it to Uslog. Give Uslog her day. There you go. Yes.
Oh, look
This
at
is
that.
what
She
she's
knows
good
her
at.
strengths, guys.
Malin's like, guys, I think they walked into this wall here. He's like patting the wall. He's like, where's the secret door? Uslog, you, from what you can tell, several people walked
I'm only
in
1 point
here,
better.
and none of them left. You would guess
Oh,
some
like-
sort of teleportation magic was
Yeah.
used,
Yeah, that would have had to have been.
possibly on the gate itself, as well as whoever was in
Didn't even
here.
realize that was possible.
It is most unfortunate that we didn't find this platform that you remember. I was very curious to examine it.
Well, who else
I
knew
don't
this
think-
was down here? Eli says.
Well, Neil.
I mean,
No, wait, no, Neil didn't come in here with us. He was disappeared at that point.
well,
but I
you said.
suppose
Sorry, go ahead.
he was allied with Blackwater, so he knew what Blackwater was looking for.
But you
no,
said
wait,
that
no, he was allied with. Never mind. I'm getting Neil all mixed
you
up.
said that the Shadowlord was seeking this vault and hired many people and told them of treasures within. So there could have been others, right?
Right. I mean, Blackwater, when he was Malik, probably had many allies that knew about this.
Because he hired a whole bunch of mercenaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
says, well, I guess there's no way of knowing for sure. It's unfortunate. Gate would could have been
I mean,
useful.
could the Shadow Kai that he because I know they've been known to teleport.
He says,
quite a
you
bit.
think, you mean those
They were
cultists you
allied-
told us
Yeah,
about?
Shadow cultists. Yeah,
I wouldn't put it past them.
because they were here fighting. I mean, they would have known, because they were here fighting our
Oh,
allies.
they did have. Yeah, never mind. Eli would.
Yeah,
know
Xana
about
had to.
So yeah,
and that
you would
they-
remember that they did have a bunch of people here fighting, which Zana and some of your other people were engaged with them. So
Yeah.
if they knew about this room, then they definitely could have come back here using teleportation magic. That would make sense.
Okay.
Yeah, so the gate to Nightweather may be in the hands of the Shadow Cult.
So the Runemaster Tower is now all the more valuable.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's grab one of these pillars and take it to Chiron. I think that he would do most of he can figure out power it or do his thing, whatever. He has time.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to make a note that you discovered that the Nightweather Vault or Nightweather Gate has been taken. You ready to scribe tonight, Glenn?
There's so much lore. I'm sorry. You bypassed easier sessions multiple
Yeah, the
times.
one I literally had like 2 sentence sessions.
I mean, that's the thing. Like Glenn's not paying attention to the lore, so
He's probably it's gonna just be like a 5-page like story about the dragon love.
yeah. And,
gonna
just
be-
like, and then we went back to Isaac and a bunch of
Yeah,
nerd
some
shit
stuff. Yeah, something about a
Yeah, it
vault
sounds
or
like very much
something. Something was.
I just
missing.
got we mean Chiron, and then we're going through the ruins to go back to the vault, and just like stuff's going on. He's just like,
I don't think your API is working, Lou, or at least unless I don't have stuff turned on. But yeah. Anyway, all right,
It might
so
not be. I
whenever-
mean, we're kind of at the end here, but
Yeah.
you
whenever we're ready, I would cast Enlarge Reduce on one of the pillars, and then
yeah,
wait for
we can say you brought one of them back to Chiron. He would say, well, I don't have the ritual to make a hollow point. At least I don't know of it offhand. I can search my library and see what I can find. But that might take me a few days. So let me get working
we
on
can-
that.
Well, hopefully this will give you the
And
Yeah,
question,
need.
do you have enough teleports to bring the other ones up here? Teleports and enlarge reduce.
no.
Okay. So the other ones are staying down there?
At least for today.
I could do more enlarge reduce, but I think the teleports is the more important thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
'cause
can we just bring it outside?
Well, you can bring
Well,
them. I
you-
mean,
you
technically,
like-
you could teleport them back to your tower if you wanted to.
Eli can teleport. 'Cause I use my 7th
that's
level
right.
to teleport us back here from the wilds, and then I use my 8th level spell slot, I assume, to teleport
Let me see
to
what.
the library.
I mean,
Do you have any? Well, do you have any more enlarge reduces?
oh yeah, I could do like 13 if I upcast.
All right. So Eli has one teleport.
Okay,
So that
we
could
bring
bring
one
us
more?
back down, unfortunately, but he couldn't bring us, so it would still have to wait anyway. Because I
All right,
assume
that's
you don't want to, unless you want to spend all day going down there again.
I
Traveling
would
through the
love it if
tunnels.
there was a plant down there, but
Well, I wanted
no.
to get the. I want to definitely come back and grab the shadow crystal.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's fine because now, now that you have, you know, the route, you could say you go
Yeah.
close the valve, or close the valve below and flood the place again. So
Yeah,
we'll say
I'm
you
gonna
did
do
that.
I'm gonna do that tomorrow or the next day. It's like, because tonight I've got a date with the Kimmy.
It's true. I'll have to roleplay that. So give me MVP votes.
You sound so excited. Hey,
Yeah.
if Malik gets his romance, I get my romance too.
I'm not stopping you. I think that's fair.
Wait, Malik,
Okay.
what? It was
Malin.
Malik's romance? What?
Look,
No,
well,
Malin.
He said Malin. He said Malin.
He said Malin, yeah.
I heard Malik. Okay.
Maybe Malik has a romance too. It's none of your business.
I mean,
Shadowlord
Even-
needs love.
Yeah, well,
You can, get on his
just because
case.
they're evil doesn't mean they're unlovable.
Exactly.
I mean, it depends on.
True, but in this case, I'll pass.
Hey, you know how many girls love Sephiroth? It's fucking weird,
That's
but
true. Sephiroth.
Yeah, I don't know about Malik.
Malik is like
Alright.
Guyblock is bad and like
I'm still
Malik is, like,
missing Malik's vote. Or sorry,
Malik's
Glenn's
vote.
vote.
yeah.
Glenn,
At this point,
we
just
want
make
Malik
me
to
a
vote. We want Malik to
I'm
vote.
thinking who deserves MVP. This is
It's hard. It's so hard.
Who deserves it? We didn't really have any
It's a three-way
combat.
tie right now.
Ooh. Oh, so I
So-
have the deciding vote.
Or you'll make it a four-way tie.
That would be funny.
What he
Um,
means is no one has voted for you.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I wasn't going to say that, but thanks.
Oh, but yeah, like you can't vote for yourself, and if it's a three-way tie, you can't.
Yeah,
so
if
you know you're not the Well, actually, no. If we do a four-way
I
tie,
guess
it's a
it could be-
roll-off.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Never mind. All right.
So who do you think no
Um,
one voted for? That's your strategy.
it's like a game now. It's like I'm just thinking who did the best role play? Who supported Glenn the most in his quest
His
for
quest for
Dragon
Dragon
Love?
Love.
Yeah.
I would. Oh yeah, I don't know. I feel like that would be Malin. Because it was like in
to be
like
honest,
they were like, yeah, if she doesn't want to see him, then we're not gonna make her.
All right. So Uslog with 2 votes, your MVP.
Yeah. Honestly, that because I just sat around and I was like, it's safe from like one snide
No.
comment.
I mean,
Yeah, so I got to retell all the old stories and visit people that she had met before, and we're all just like, who the fuck are these people?
Yeah, I'm definitely digging like. in
This
the
was like a
attic of my memory
flashback
right
episode
now.
for Uslog.
Yeah,
It was
and
fan
I feel
service.
like
Uslog fan service. This was
more
that.
importantly, I feel like Glenn has shown Uslog the true power of love and music,
Oh,
and I think she's slowly coming over to his side of things.
so
I mean,
if you
already on the music.
really quick, so you said you took that shadow crystal. Just make sure you
Yeah.
put it in one of your bags.
Well, can I just carry on my person?
Shadow crystals are very fragile. You don't want to carry them without a bag of holding.
All right, it's going in the bag holding.
Yeah, because if they bump around, they break.
Yeah, you gotta wrap them up in some old
Did you-
stuff.
And like, and how
you
many
put it-
souls does it take to create a shadow crystal?
Hundreds or thousands?
And you just casually break it, be like, it's
Well, the normal one, I believe it was like 100.
oh my god, still though, that
It's an insane amount.
you imagine casually breaking something that costs like 100 souls to create.
It's true. It would be very.
So are you Are you putting it in the party, or like, are you putting it in Uslug's bag of holding, or do we have more than one bag of holding?
That's a good point. We only have one now.
Yeah, because Chomsky had his own, but
Yeah. I mean, like, add it to the inventory if you're putting it in hers. Like, we just want to make sure we
I'm gonna
know
do
that it's
that.
like safe. Yeah.
Well, I'm just taking notes. Good game, everyone. Sorry, it's been a
Yeah,
little
good game.
slow. Hopefully, you still
Oh.
enjoyed it.
A lot
I
of
kind of wanted to kill something, but also there was good lore today, so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like obviously I'm itching for comment, but like
And also,
I kind
I
of get
think-
it, you know.
You're
I
on
think
custom
that-
knowledge.
Uslog telling Chiron everything like that, like, also was probably good for the other characters in character, because like
Yeah.
there was probably details that we didn't have,
Right.
you know.
Now we kind of know, like, for the most part, everyone's on the same page and kind of knows.
Malin,
like,
And we're gonna go find Hollow Hand next, right?
Malin has to get into one of the games for the first 2 campaigns, so we can get all the backstory.
Yeah, sorry, Malin.
No, that's fine. I'm just gonna
Oh,
start
Malin.
begging, like, please, ancient dragon, please, ancient dragon, please, ancient dragon. I'm just gonna start
Malin just
begging.
wants to fight an ancient dragon.
Malin hasn't gone through Char.
No, he
No.
hasn't gone through
I
Char
joined,
or
like-
Isaac.
I'm pretty sure I
Oh,
joined like
man.
1 or 2 months before you joined this one, Glenn.
Yeah, you joined. Were we in the Shadowfell or were we back
No,
on
no.
Gaia?
We were back on Guy. Like you was like,
Oh wow, so you missed
Yeah, I
Fire
just
with the
3
beast.
chapters. Wow.
He joined
okay.
during the giant story arc.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you would
And
like
before-
the Char. You would like the